Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Naruto got married with pervert female Kyuubi and Hinata part 2. Before I start, please do support for more awesome content and subscribe my channel and like this video. Go support and follow the Tobmaster for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. Let's start this video. It was morning once more and everyone was starting to get ready for the day. Hinata pulled her toasty, naked body from the sleeping bag she shared with Kyu and started rummaging for some clothes in her bag just as Sakura woke and was looking at her. "You know you still look like a 12-year-old aside from those large of yours," the haired woman commented. "I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or not," she replied, and she started to slip on her pants. "Take it as you want, I'm just envious of you Hyuga women, it is a pain to shave your legs. Anyways, you actually don't wear any underwear?" she questioned, seeing it being obvious. "Nope, with these pants I can't wear mine, and wearing a thong is like wearing nothing as it is, so why bother?" she told her as she slipped her t-shirt over her firm dot. "Did you bring something else other than those for other times during a month?" she questioned again from a medical standpoint. "Not really, I don't have those since I've been on birth control. When did you go on that?" "The day I saw Naruto come back in the village. I knew after that day I was going to give myself to him, but then I walked in on him and Kyu-chan half-dressed sleeping in his bed before I knew about her and nearly left him. I then realized that if I forced him to choose between two women that he loved, he would choose me since I will be the one to give him kids, but I just couldn't hurt him or Kyu-chan like that, so I went against my gut feeling and had with both of them. I first thought it would be really dirty to do that, but I really couldn't be happier now. I really have a family that loves me and cares for me openly." Kyu removed herself from the bag at this point and hugged the small Hyuga from behind. "I really don't know how he would have survived without you. I'm really glad you came back to him, even if I really wanted him to myself. Now would you mind helping with my tails, they're a mess." Hinata smiled and took the offered brush as the still naked fox sat down in front of her. She started brushing the silky fur but noticed Sakura was watching them intently. "I've got another brush if you want to help," Hinata announced as she pulled it out of her bag. Sakura silently nodded her head and got into position, brushing the fur. "They are so soft, you couldn't be a bad demon if you care for your fur this well," she commented as she continued brushing the red tails. "Hey, are you guys decent?" Naruto whispered through the door. "No, but there's nothing that you haven't seen before, so come in," Sakura answered. He cautiously stepped into the large tent and smiled at the occupants before giving his girls each. "Morning Kyu-chan, Hinata-chan." "Oh, and morning Sakura, Kurenai." "Morning to you too Naruto-kun," chorused the two young dark-haired women. "Yeah, what they said," Sakura mentioned while still engrossed in brushing the fur. "Are the guys awake yet?" Kurenai asked. "Just barely, I was awake early since I haven't slept without someone in my arms in about a year and I missed having my girls with me." "Well, I suppose that is a problem. If you three can promise to not get busy on the way, I'll see what I can do to get you in your own tent, but you'll need to come clean with the others," Kurenai offered up. "Sounds fair, most know about it already, so it should be fine. Don't hide your tails this morning Kyu-chan, that'll get their attention, which is if they even notice." Naruto dealt out to the two again before leaving the tent. Hinata followed him out without the overcoat, while Kyu stayed a while longer still getting her tails brushed by Sakura. "Is there something you want?" Naruto asked as he noticed a small person following him with a smile. "Well, there are a few things, but that can wait. I just wanted to be with you." His smile widened and held out his hand for her, which she accepted eagerly. "Hey guys, are you ready yet?" Naruto yelled at the quiet tent. Finally he heard some stirring and complaining followed by a bark or two as a reply to something Kiba mumbled. "Yeah, we're up already," he heard Kiba yell in a groggy voice. Naruto sat leaning against a tree with Hinata in his lap as he ran his S gently through her hair and down her back, waiting for everyone to emerge from their tents. Roughly 15 minutes later all the guys and Kurenai were outside eating the breakfast Naruto prepared earlier as they waited for Sakura and Kyu to come out. Finally Sakura came out followed by Kyu, also without the jacket, in all her tail glory, making the guys' eyes pop out from getting a good view of her and how clingy the crotch of her pants were. "Alright guys," Naruto announced as he walked to the group holding Hinata's hand. "There is something I want you all to know about Kyu-chan and me. First is the origin of Kyu-chan. I know Kakashi should recognize who and what she is in a moment, and Shino has most likely had his suspicions about her, so I will come out and say it bluntly. Kyu-chan is also known as the Kyuubi. After a technique of Orochimaru, she was locked into a rage and attacked Konoha, where the Yondaime saw she was not evil and decided to preserve her life at the cost of his sealing her inside of a newborn child, me." Naruto looked around and basically only saw Kiba reaction, so things were going good. So anyways, she came out of her rage on my 16th birthday, and shortly after Iro-senin and I made it so she could come out here, and it was among the living again. She isn't able to go more than 30 yards away from me without disappearing, since she is still sealed within me, and to top it all off she was very lonely and is basically like my girlfriend. Naruto rattled off, not letting any chance for comments. So what type of relationship do the three of you really have? Kakashi asked in a slightly perverted tone. One many times better than your book has, so enough of that, how do you guys feel about all this? He asked, mostly directed at the other two members of the group. I'm unchanged, as long as Hinata is happy with it, I'm fine, and I was suspecting something similar to this, but this is still surprising. Dryly stated the hooded Shino. Damn, now I'm really jealous. You get two hot girls. Kiba still was astonished and didn't really say anything else. Alright, I think this is all wrong. Isn't there a single person in this entire country that has a problem with me having with two women at the same time? Naruto looked at the group gathered as they all looked at each other before turning back to him. Nope, sounds like fun. They all stated in unison. And all this time I thought girls hate perverts, I guess they only hate the openly perverted. I give up. Hinata and Kyu giggled at him before they both latched onto him and each had a cheek. After the little meeting, the group continued on their way. Naruto's two Vixens opted not to wear their coats since everyone knew to keep their eyes to themselves, and since they were no longer near Konoha, Kyu was able to remain in her tailed state. There were no problems along the way like the last time traversing the countryside to Wave, and after an additional relaxing 2-day travel, they came upon the giant bridge leading into the small country. Hey Sakura, Kakashi, there's that huge bridge we helped protect. Naruto yelled out as he took off for the massive landmark and stopped after reaching the beginning of it. What is it called, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked as she was in awe of the magnitude of the structure as the group moved across the bridge. I don't really know. I'd expect it to be called the ultra-cool massively awesome bridge that Tazuna made, but I could be wrong. The entire group all started laughing at him for thinking it was completely stupid, but that soon faded when they were met by an old man. Actually, I wanted to call it the totally awesome bridge Tazuna made, but yours sounded much better. He stated. Hey old man. Naruto yelled at the guy, causing him to smile. Excuse me sir, but what really is the name of the bridge? Hinata asked shyly, falling back on a piece of her old persona. Well, we actually decided to name it after the person that brought back our will to fight. It is the Great Naruto Bridge, he announced. Really? That's awesome, I'm not so funny now huh? Naruto snapped at them all. Sorry for laughing at you Naruto-kun. Hinata stated as she led him apologetically. You still are funny, but we still love you. Commented Kyu and matched the Hinata given him so she wasn't outdone. Tazuna got a huge smile on his face watching them. Well, it appears as though our hero has himself a little group thing going, I approve. He started with a smarmy laugh. So then, how about I take you to where you'll be staying, I have just the place. Tazuna led the group around the now bustling city until he reached a familiar house, well at least 3 of the travelers. Here we are. I'm sure Tsunami and Inari will be surprised to see you, Naruto, and you all are welcome. There are only 3 rooms so I would suggest the largest for the guys, 1 for the girls and 1 for Naruto, since I think he hasn't had much privacy during the trip. The old man announced, causing Hinata and Naruto to blush deeply, while Kyu just had a smile. How thick are the walls? Kyu asked him in a hushed voice, but everyone could still hear. Very well insulated, I would say anything short of a foghorn wouldn't be heard. Perfect. Everyone laughed from her questions knowing full well what was going to be happening there. Deciding to avoid where the conversation was going, Naruto grabbed Hinata's hand and pulled her towards the house. Hey wait for me Naruto-kun, you can't start without me. Kyu called out to him while giving chase, causing the rest to laugh even harder before following them into the house. Hey Tsunami. Naruto greeted as he ran through the door. The woman looked up from the couch she was relaxing on and smiled seeing the blonde shinobi standing there. Naruto, it's good to see you again. Inari will be quite happy to see you as well. She got up and looked at the rest of the people filing into the house. You've got a different group with you this time, who are they all? Well, you already know Kakashi-sensei and Sakura, but the others are Kurenai, the older but still pretty one, Kiba is the one that looks like a dog, and Akamaru is his dog which is outside because he is huge. Shino is the quiet one in the hood, and now the gorgeous one to my left is Hinata-chan, my fiancé, and the stunning one to my right with the tails is Kyu-chan, my girlfriend. He introduced. Well, it is good to meet you all, I'll have dinner ready in about 3 hours from now when Inari gets home, so please let's sit and chat. I'd like to hear more about Naruto and his girls. I've always wanted to try a 2-on-1 relationship. Ah, it's an epidemic. I truly think that everyone in the world is a pervert. Naruto screamed, throwing up his arms in despair. No, we aren't all perverts, we are humans. Humans are real beings, and having curious thoughts about it is quite normal for everyone of age. You can't be seen as a pervert unless you go out of your way for your curiosity, like peeping and openly reading dirty books. Tsunami informed with a pointed glace at Kakashi. Well, that still makes Kakashi-sensei and Iro-senin perverts, so I guess it works. They all talked about various things and helped the Tsunami start making supper when a young teen ran through the back door. "Mom, we're getting real ninja teachers tomorrow," Inari yelled as he ran into the kitchen. "Hey Inari, guess who's helping teach?" Naruto asked with a huge grin as he continued to help with the preparations. "Naruto?" Inari yelled with a big smile as well. "Who are those hotties that are here as well?" he asked with a blush. "That's Kyuu-chan and Hinata-chan, they are very good friends of mine," he replied, not knowing if he was old enough to understand. "And how good are you good friends?" he came back with a sly smile. "None of your business," Naruto replied while crossing his arms, causing some giggles from the women in the room. They had a normal supper and talked about what was being taught in the academy, and before long everyone was getting tired and definitely ready for bed. They all went to their rooms after thanking Tsunami and Tazuna for their hospitality, leaving Naruto and his Vixens alone in their shared room. It was barely 6 AM when Tsunami came to the trio's door. Since there were no locks on the door, she entered the room and smiled, seeing the blonde trapped underneath the two beautiful girls, still completely undressed from the events of the night. "Hey guys, wake up." Moments after her call, she saw 3 pairs of surprised eyes looking at the intruder. "I brought you fresh sheets since you probably messed up yours, and some towels. We only have one shower, so I suggest you 3 take one first before everyone else gets up. I'll wait half an hour before waking the others." "You are kind, Tsunami, thank you." Hinata started with a smile. "Nonsense, Naruto has told us about a small part of his life, so he needs all the happiness he can get, and by the looks of things, he couldn't be happier." She smiled at them again before setting the linens on a chair before leaving and shutting the door behind her. "Well, you heard the lady, let's go get showered." The 3 peered into the hallway and seeing that it was clear, all 3 of them, still naked, ran into the bathroom carrying their towels. They hurriedly shut the door of the room with a sigh from avoiding meeting anyone in their embarrassing state of dress. They washed each other's bodies, making sure to clean every inch, but not linger too long on certain parts to avoid having to take another shower after returning to their room. After being fully clean, they wrapped their towels around their bodies and walked back to their room, where they got dressed in all their clothing, including the overcoat, since the students needed to be paying attention to the lesson, not their bodies. When they finally left the room, they were met by a bustling group of ninja, all fighting over the one bathroom. Well, maybe just 2 were, while the rest were already sitting down for breakfast. "Morning, Tsunami, Kurenai, Kakashi, Shino, and Tazuna." The trio greeted each other before sitting down to eat. "Where's Inari?" "He's out doing his morning training. He keeps saying that if he wants to be like you, he needs to train harder than anyone else." Tsunami started just as said boy ran into the house. "Inari," called out his mother. "Breakfast is ready." "Thanks mom, I'll be right down." After a few moments he returned along with Kiba and Sakura. They sat and ate mostly in silence, except for Kiba, who went outside to eat so he could be with his oversized dog until the silence was getting old. "So Kakashi-sensei, Kurenai, how are we going to divide the teachings?" Naruto asked while relaxing from the food. "Well, we have decided that Kiba and Hinata will be teaching Taijutsu basics. Shino and Sakura will take on the theories, control and maybe some medical, since they are the smartest of the group, and the only medic Kurenai will take care of, while I'll teach weapons. This leaves you and Kyu to teach ninjutsu, since that is your strength, but don't teach them yours since they could possibly die, and I'm expecting Kyu to supervise, so we don't have a village full of kids running around with your either. Whatever Kakashi-sensei, I'll make sure to teach them only the basics, but I'll still show them a few high-class skills, just so they have something to look forward to. I still wish they would have shown us something cool like that, all we had was Sasuke showing off his fire dot." The others had to agree with him, even Sakura had to agree that Sasuke was a show-off, but that won't change her feelings for him in the least. They all decided to resign themselves to their fate and headed out to the academy. The next 4 months were hell for the ninja, but they managed anyway. They found that between teaching and keeping up with their own training, that there was little time for anything else. No wonder Kakashi was always late. The teaching was going exceptionally well, and even the first batch of the eldest students graduated as the first ninja out from that academy, officially making one more ninja village. Everything went well on the training end as well. Naruto finished his work on the Rasengan, giving him more 2 versions of it based around the wind manipulation. Kyu finished her telepathic link for the trio, while Hinata just got faster and more agile, making her Jaiken even more deadly. Unfortunately for them, there was very little time and energy after all was done that they currently have been on hiatus from their life for the past month, which has made them incredibly wanting, but they can't free themselves until the summer break that was now only half an hour away. Alright class, as much as I hate to do this, everyone gets in a line, we're going to be doing this. You can leave after you have successfully created 2 clones. Naruto told them. Aw, come on sensei. It's almost time to get out, can't you just be sympathetic on our behalf? Whined one of the students. Nope, this is important to learn. This was the very technique I had the worst time with and it nearly cost me being a ninja, so get in the line. Reluctantly the class stood and formed the line as each one went through the required. Isn't class over yet? I want us to do something fun together. Called out Hinata on the newly completed telepathic link. We're almost done here, Naruto decided to torture the kids just a little longer. Replied Kyuubi. Okay, I'll wait, make sure he hurries, this was only half of a day, so there is plenty of time to do some stuff. Very good. Aside from a few of you, you all have that down perfectly. Chances are that I won't be seeing you when you get back, so keep practicing. I'll want to see you guys in the exam soon. Now what are all you still standing here for? School is out. The students all whooped and hollered as they tore out of the classroom and away from the academy. Let's go Naruto-kun, Hinata-chan wants to do something and she's been getting very antsy waiting for you. Kyuubi informed him with a slight tug on his arm. I know, we haven't had as much time together as I had with you over the months, so I think she's feeling a little left out. He replied. Well then, let's not keep her waiting any longer. Kyuubi grabbed his arm and nearly drug him away from the academy at the speed she was running. They quickly arrived in the village park where Hinata was currently lying on the grass with her eyes closed, feeling the warm summer breeze. Naruto and Kyuubi slipped apart and inches close to her before they each held her on the cheek simultaneously with the grabbing of each of them. What a nice way to be greeted. She mentioned before pulling Naruto closer as she contacted his only moments before slipping her tongue deep in his mouth, aimed lightly at the feeling of the. Hey, no fair. Where's mine? Kyuubi whined. Naruto smiled at her and was moving in for a while when he saw Hinata grab her hair and crush the Vixen's face into hers. Naruto felt some stiffness in his pants as he saw his 2 girls making out for the first time. Sure they have ed before, but like that. Happy? Hinata asked with a sly smile on her face. Well, not what I expected, but it was very good. Now then cutie, how would you like to go to the beach? I hear it is wonderful this time of year. Kyuubi suggested. Sure, I guess, but I didn't think to bring a swimsuit. That's fine Hinata-chan, I brought the one you tried on for me at the store. Naruto threw up. You bought it. Sure, you looked really hot in it and I was hoping to see you in it again. He replied with a grin. Naruto-kun, I can't believe you would do that for me before we were even considered a couple. Stated Hinata in astonishment. Don't worry you're with me now so who cares? Well yeah, but what if I didn't end up with you? Hyuga asked again. I guess I would have found some other super gorgeous woman to wear it for me. He teased me. Stop Naruto-kun, you knew full well she was the only one you could love like that, now let's get going, I can't wait to sit in the sun almost naked. Kyuubi grabbed each of them by the hand and drugged them until they walked on their own. They didn't have too far to travel until they came upon the beach with a decent amount of people running about, including their other companions. Hey you 3, get over here. Shouted Sakura as she was waving at them wearing a skimpy black 2-piece. Hey Sakura, everyone else here? Naruto asked. Yep, Kiba is playing with Akamaru in the water and Kurenai is sunbathing and well Kakashi-sensei is reading his book. Are you guys going to go in the water or just sit in the sun? Probably both, but I've got to change. Alright, the changing room is over there in that small building. Sakura told them. Immediately Hinata hurried towards the building wanting to change quickly. Hey Hinata-chan, wait for us. Kyuubi called out as she chased down the girl with Naruto not far behind. They came back out in their stunning outfits. Hinata wore a 2-piece, colored like her hair, with ties on each side of her bottoms to hold them on. She also wore a matching pull-away skirt that had a fancy night theme printed on it. Kyuubi may as well have worn no bottom as she came out in a red string-style bikini, in her full human form, showing off a lot of skin joining Naruto wearing simple black trunks. So what do you want to do first? Naruto asked his 2 beauties. How about you? Hinata offered up while Kyuubi was snickering at a bold statement. We'll get to that later I promise. They continued on and threw down their towels on the hot sand before settling face down on each side of the blonde. Hey Naruto-kun, I think we need some help to keep from burning out in the sun. Kyuubi mentioned while holding up a bottle of lotion, while Hinata giggled knowing she would be next. He moved her hair out of the way before pouring some of the lotion onto his hands and proceeded to massage it into her soft skin. She made some pleasurable noises as he continued to massage down her back and even onto her exposed ass cheeks and down her firm legs. "I can take it from here," she told him as he turned to Hinata, who was still smiling at him. He unwrapped her skirt before setting in the exact same as he did for his previous girl, only to have her turn onto her back and smile mischievously at him. "Full service please, there's more skin here," she told him flirtatiously. "Hey, why didn't I think to do that?" Kyu whined as he set into work massaging her shoulders and down to the tops of her, leading to her abs and legs. She was clearly enjoying the touching and let out a sigh when he finished. "You missed a spot," Hinata recalled as she pointed to her dot, happily complying. He moved in, giving her a light, but just hovered above her dot. "I love you, Hinata-chan, I just wanted you to know that," he told her quietly before wringing her much deeper and pulling on her bottom lip as he broke apart, only to get a whine as she grabbed his head and pulled him to her again. She pushed her tongue past her and Ed into the as she twirled her tongue around his. She kept up her lock on her for a few more minutes before letting him up and wiping away the string of saliva from the unfathomable she just ran him through. "Are you guys done there?" Kyu asked, strangely with a sweet smile. "For now," she replied. "Good." The Vixen just came up to Naruto and gave him a quick dot. They broke apart as Sakura ran up to them. "Hey you three, how about playing a little beach volley, all you guys versus me, Kurenai, and Kiba?" What do you think of Hinata-chan?" Naruto asked. "Sounds like fun, Naruto-kun, let's go," Hinata replied cheerily. He just smiled at her and nodded before wrapping his arm around her waist and holding Kyu's hand as they made their way to the court. The match was close and it ended up being a little more advanced than a normal game as were being liberally thrown and dispelled, but Kyu won it for their team with a well-placed Kitsune illusion that went undetected by Kurenai and Sakura, allowing Hinata to get the winning point. "Well then, now what? We've played for about 3 hours for one of us to win, so what else can we do?" Kiba asked, with Akamaru barking from the sidelines in agreement. Just then Shino arrived carrying a large box of something, causing them all to meet up with him where Kakashi was still reading. "Tsunami made dinner for you all," was all the Bugmaster said as he set the box down and went out to inspect more insects in the area. "I guess we have something to do now," Naruto announced as he cracked open the box and handed out the food, starting with Hinata before everything was handed out. They all ate and talked about their students until the sun started to set. "Hey Hinata-chan, Kyu-chan, do you want to go watch the sunset?" Naruto asked, hoping to enjoy the evening. "Definitely love," Hinata replied as she grabbed his arm and brought him towards the beach with Kyu on his other arm. Slowly the sunset casting beautiful hues of colors across the sky while it was reflected in the water before leaving them all shrouded in darkness. After night set in, they all stood and started back on their way to Tezuna's house when Inari and some of the other students ran up. "Hey Naruto-sensei, Mom sent some marshmallows and stuff, you want to build a fire?" he asked, giving the group a reason to stay longer. "Sure thing Inari, but we're not in the academy anymore, so you can lose the sensei." Inari nodded in acknowledgement before laying eyes on all the half-dressed women. "Damn, you are all hot." He commented that some of the other kids stood gawking at the females. "Hey Inari, quit staring and help with the fire," Sakura commanded while threatening to smash his skull. It only took a few seconds before there was a roaring fire as everyone gathered around warming themselves. "Alright, while you guys sit by the fire, I'm going to do a bit of swimming. Is anyone else coming?" Naruto asked with a smile. "Sorry Naruto, it is way too cold to swim right now, you go ahead," Sakura mentioned while huddling close to the fire. "Sure, okay, Hinata-chan, Kyu-chan, you coming?" he asked. "Sorry Naruto-kun, I really like being warm," Kyu informed him, looking at him before knowingly pushing Hinata forward, causing her to squeak. I guess I'll go to Naruto-kun," Hinata stated while looking back at Kyu, wondering why she pushed her. "Thanks Hinata-chan, are you sure you don't want to go to Kyu-chan?" "I'm sure, you two go have your fun, I'll stay here," she affirmed with a smile. "Okay, but don't whine to me later." "I won't, now go." Naruto looked at her again with slight wonder and amazement before taking Hinata's hand and heading to the water. "Hinata-chan, I thought we were just going to play around and not go that far." Naruto. Narit felt a slight change in her temperature throughout her body as she ended around his member, nearly halting his movement until she screamed in ecstasy, signifying her orgasm. Her muscles started to quiver from her experience, bringing forth his height of passion as he pushed deep and held her, filling her with his fluid as he fed her deeply. "That was kind of fast, I think the cold speeds things up," he told her while she still clung to his warm body. "I don't care, I loved it. Thank you." Citrus End. "So do you want to go to the fire with everyone?" "No, just hold me longer. I've wanted to be alone with you since I met Kyu-chan. I love being with the two of you, but this just seems right." He didn't answer her as he just held her lie. Hinata-chan, if you really want to have time alone, then let's make use of the time Kyuu-chan gave us. He sat back and giving her anything she desires, well she couldn't look any happier letting him. So Kyuu, what do you think they're doing? Kiba asked like an idiot. What do you think a couple who are getting married would do being completely alone and mostly undressed, moron? Berated Sakura while looking at a saddened Vixen. Are you really okay with this, Kyuu? Asked Kurenai. About as okay as I was when he first met her, knowing I was his girlfriend at the time. Actually she did most of the ing. Gotcha, accepting but not wanting. Chimed Sakura. Exactly. Just a few seconds after the conversation ended, Naruto returned with Hinata both clearly in a good mood. All the guys, and even the girls, were staring directly at the dark-haired Hyuga. Is there something wrong? She asked after seeing their stares. Yeah, you forgot to cover something. Kyuu walked up to the girl and pulled the crotch of her swimsuit covering the bare flesh. Oops, thank you. Voiced Hinata fully red-faced. It's fine, you two have fun. Kyuu asked. Very much, Kyuu-chan, I'd like to make it up to you. Hinata offered. Don't worry about Hinata-chan, I made the choice. Everyone ready to go? Asked the Vixen, who dressed fully in the time they were gone and had her tails out fully. Sure, but where's Inari? Naruto wondered. He went back already with Shino. Sakura replied while putting out the fire. After picking everything up they went to leave, but noticed Hinata was asleep on the ground. Kyuu-chan, can you help Hinata-chan onto my back so I can carry her? Alright Naruto-kun, but she is going to be cold in just her swimsuit. I know, but I'm warm, so just help her on my back and put my coat over her, that should keep her comfortable. With Hinata secured on his back and fully covered, they started to trek back to the village. By the time they got back, it was really late and all but Tsunami were asleep in the house when they got in. Hey guys, I stayed up to make sure you got in. Their kind hostess greeted them. Thank you Tsunami, you didn't really need to do that, but I understand why you did. Good night all, I need to get Hinata-chan to bed. Naruto carefully carried his fiancée to their room followed by Kyuu. He placed the sleeping girl upon the bed and laid down for a moment but found himself asleep next to her quickly. You two are perfect together, please be safe. Kyuu stripped down to nothing before cuddling up to the blonde and falling into a restless sleep. She tossed and turned through the night as something disturbed her sleep, but she couldn't figure out what until about 3 AM she sat straight up in bed breathing hard from the dream she had. Too many, that's why I couldn't figure it out, there was more than one. She looked over to the two sleeping and realized one thing before crawling over and removing Naruto's unstimulated equipment from his shorts. Hi beautiful. He said while looking at her. Hi. She moved to roll off him, but Kyuu picked up Naruto's arm and wrapped it around the tiny waist of the girl lying on him. Kyuu-chan, what has been wrong with you recently? You have been less possessive of me and even pushing Hinata-chan closer. He asked after that last action. You two will be married soon, so act like it. She said with a huff as she lay next to them. But I will still love you even after I marry her, we all know and accept this. I know, but what if you had to choose? Kyuu asked after turning to him. I won't have to because he was silenced by a from the Vixen. Just think about that. You don't need to voice an answer, just entertain the question. Now give her what she wants before I force you to. What is wrong? She didn't answer him as she placed her hand on the back of Hinata's head and firmly pushed down, causing her to meet his surprise at the both of them. They both laid there touching, not doing anything. Are you two morons? Each other like you mean it. I can see that you hold back when you're in, now go. I'm not letting you free until you show me what you can do. Giving in to her request, they started to increase in intensity. Naruto's other arm wrapped around her and held her lying ever more deeply. Kyuu removed her hand with a smile and watched as they continued singing for another 2 minutes until she rolled over on top of her and pulled apart slightly before very lightly ing her 2 more times. That proves that you two were holding back, never holding back on love. Now we have a few more hours to sleep before daybreak, so let's sleep. She wrapped her arms around the small frame of the young woman while Naruto was still half laying on her and relaxed into her side and rested his head on the pillow. I love you very much Hinata-chan. He whispered in her ear, barely even audible, but the Vixen could still hear him and felt bittersweet since he only told her those words in that tone. Love you Kyuu-chan. She smiled a little hearing that but felt that his emotions weren't ever behind them to the level when he spoke with the Hyuga. Pushing out the thoughts, she settled in and fell asleep. Hours later, at breakfast, Kyuu was clearly nervous and everyone noticed but didn't make a big production out of it, hoping it was just something on her mind and not the increase of the same feeling she had the previous night. She barely ate anything because of her anxiety, and add that to the way she was acting earlier that day, Naruto was getting worried of what it might mean, since to get a demon like that to be nervous, it would be disastrous. Kyuu-chan, tell me what is wrong. You are clearly worried and you've been acting very off within the past day. He finally asked, not being able to take it anymore. It's a feeling I don't like and it could get worse. It was then that Akamaru started barking, catching everyone's attention, shortly after some familiar ninja rushed, or rather leapt, through the door. Dynamic entry. Thank the gods of youthfulness, for I have located the location where my immortal rival was located. Guy, did you say something? Kakashi asked, looking up from his book. Curse you Kakashi and your coolness. It is okay Guy-sensei, your youthfulness shall outshine him in no time. Announced Lee as he ran into the room followed by the rest of the team. Lee, I couldn't ask for a better response, between the both of us we shall brighten the youth in everyone. Guy yelled in response. Guy-sensei. Lee. Guy-sensei. Lee. Guy-sensei. Lee. Guy-sensei. Lee and the usual crashing of waves in the sunset as the two spandex-wearing ninja hugged. Would you two shut up, this is much too troublesome to waste time. Commented Shikamaru, a little worse for wear, as he walked into the house followed by his team. Okay, someone tell me what is going on. What are you guys doing here? And what happened to you? Naruto jumped to the question before anyone else could. Short answer, Akatsuki. The lazy Jounin replied. Where is Asuma? Kurenai asked quickly, catching the attention of a few. He was hurt badly in a battle with Haiden and Kakuzu, but is still alive, and we took down those bastards in the end anyways. He replied with a yawn. So I take it that they are moving on us to take me? Asked Caillou, causing some of the guests to look at her strangely. No, we were told they were after Naruto for some reason. The lazy ass replied. Actually she is the reason they are after me, she is the Kyuubi, the nine-tailed fox demon that was sealed inside of me when I was born, by the Yondaime, at the cost of his life. Naruto answered quickly. Well damn, I never expected the fox to be a woman, man that's troublesome. Okay now that we're all informed, what else is there? Kakashi asked. Team Guy managed to help defeat Tadara and Sasori after they acquired the one-tailed demon from Gaara. Some old lady did and brought him back at the cost of her life so he is fine. So there are 4 less members of Akatsuki now, but it is our understanding that Itachi and Kisame will be arriving in this area soon. Just the 2. That shouldn't be that bad. Naruto announced as he stretched out his muscles. No, Naruto-kun, it isn't 2 it is more. I sense the power of at least 4 elite ninja coming from 3 different ways. The Vixen informed me. So, is this what is messed up Caillou-chan? Naruto asked her. Yes. But why are you anxious that you are a powerful demon? Inquired Kiba. I'm not afraid for myself, it is for others. Each of the coming enemies are easily Kakashi's level or greater, and one feels similar to Orochimaru. Wait, if he's coming, then is Sasuke? Naruto wondered. I don't know Naruto-kun, it is possible. Okay, Shikamaru, what do you suggest? We need to keep the bottle away from Tsunami and the village. Called out the same blonde that was always seen as a dimwit. Who are you and what did you do with Naruto? Shikamaru asked with signs of amazement. Oh just stuff it lazy ass. Fine, there are 3 islands around the mainland. We will station a group at each island to intercept each incoming group. Team Kakashi will be at the northern island, you should meet up with either Orochimaru or Itachi. Team Kurenai will assemble at the southeastern island and should only meet with the unknown enemies, since the others will most likely seek out Naruto. My team will assemble on the remaining island if the unknown goes there, and Team Guy is to be in support and will aid any team if a Sharingan user arrives on their island aside from Kakashi's island. Sounds fair, how about Kakashi-sensei? You have grown way too much Naruto, even more in the past months, you still surprise me. Alright team, let's set it up. Without much conversation, all the teams split setting out to their respective islands, with Team Guy heading for a better view for Niji to view the opponents. Hinata-chan, we are in position, take care of yourself and don't worry about Naruto-kun, he'll be fine, I'll see to that. Thank you Caillou-chan, we are just now getting into position. See you two afterwards. It was now just a waiting game as the 4 teams sat around waiting for the arrival of their enemies. Every few minutes they would check in with each other through the communication systems they were all wearing just for something to pass the time. The waiting was going to destroy the maturity Naruto was managing to gain, but that was relieved when Caillou suddenly stood. The snake is coming but he is alone. She started with anger. They all stood in a battle-ready stance waiting for the incoming snake as he jumped into view. Sasuke? Or are you Orochimaru? Naruto asked, trying to figure out what was going down. Oh, Orochimaru is here. The intruder replied. So you are Orochimaru and Kakashi immediately pulled up his forehead protector and charged his chakra into his hand. No, he took over my body, but I took over his mind. Now it is time for Naruto to die. The mature Sharingan flared in both the Uchiha's eyes and stared down his smirking opponent. So then, you are going to try to kill me, while your brother shows up and finishes the job he started when we are both weakened. Itachi will be here soon and it would be much easier for us to kill him and then have our battle. I don't need any help to kill him, I'll find my strength on my own. Sasuke replied. A genius you may be, but you are still a moron. Didn't you figure out that you went to Orochimaru for help to get stronger? What is the difference between him helping you and me helping you? Naruto asked. Immediately the group saw a slight change in their old teammate. HMPF, whatever dope. Kakashi and Sakura looked amazed as they watched the Uchiha sit down on the edge of the clearing. Sasuke-kun, are you really going to help us? Sakura asked as she inched closer to him. Well, the loser does have a point. He dryly replied. So, is Orochimaru really inside you? She continued. In a way, I guess. It is basically a permanent version of Ino's, but much more advanced since it also infuses his power with mine. So basically I'm stronger than he could ever be. Is he going to, take over you at some point? Not if I can help it. Sakura sighed and sat down within a few feet of him with a smile. You're still annoying. He mentioned as he turned away from her. Yeah, well, you are a traitorous bastard. You mentioned that you wanted to rebuild your clan, but how in the hell do you expect to do that if you are always an asshole? Sasuke just looked at her and smirked before quickly closing the distance and lightly edging her. Because no matter how much of an asshole I am, you will always stay the same, weak and wanting a relationship more than training. He tried to smirk again but was greeted with a punch nearly beheading the traitor. He left a deep trench with his body as it skidded across the ground and through a tree. Weak am I? I didn't ask for you, asshole. I am not that weak little girl that would once do anything for you. Just think about that, you could have suggested any activity and I would have done it with you, but you go and chase down another asshole. Are you gay or something? She stomped up to the downed guy and noticed he was out. Oops, maybe too much chakra. She shyly commented. There is some movement towards the north and east islands, but I can't see who. Niji's voice urged over the communicators. I can see two coming towards my location, Kiba has confirmed what I have seen, they aren't Akatsuki. Sounded the gentle voice of Hinata in reply. Be careful, Hinata-chan, Sasuke has agreed to help fight Itachi, but he is currently out cold from calling Sakura weak and Orochimaru is of no threat at this time. Naruto answered on the device. Okay, team guy, remain in position and help out only when needed to avoid tripping over each other. My team will take the role of support since we are less than optimal for battle at this time. I figure there is a high percentage of victory, so keep your heads and all should be fine. Shikamaru laid back on the ground and looked up to the sky with a sigh. Damn it, Shikamaru, get your lazy ass up and go help our friends. Shouted Ino. It would just be too troublesome, there would be too many people fighting just 4 enemies, we would just get in the way. When the fighting starts we'll watch and if someone gets injured or tired, we'll replace them and keep the fight going. They'll have the handicap of no replacement so we'll win. She just scoffed at him and angrily sat down next to him and Choji, since it would take too much effort on anyone's list to get them to move. Team Kakashi. Come on Sakura, wake up the bastard, Itachi will be here any moment and we could use another Sharingan. Requested the blonde. Yeah, I know. I'm trying here. Still holding her glowing hands above the Uchiha, he finally started to stir and looked up at her. Shit, that hurt. I guess you weren't overly weak from staying in Konoha. The Uchiha commented. Damn you Sasuke. I knock you out and then revive you and all you say is that I'm not overly weak. Whether you were prepared for it or not, I kicked your ass. Now get on your feet, your even bigger asshole of a brother will be here soon. More like now, stuff. Announced the pale blue skinned sushi bar. Well, long time no see, calamari princess, enjoy your time away with your Uchiha lover. Goaded Naruto. Shut up brat, remember, I only need to bring a big part of you back so I can cut off all your appendages with my Samahata. Quiet Kisum, you're losing control of the situation. Don't take this lightly, especially with Kakashi and my little brother here. Flatly recited the shorter man with the slashed Konoha headband. Fine, let's just take him and leave. He replied, completely ignoring their enemies. Alright, I've had enough of these bastards chasing after me, hey Sasuke, you ready to avenge your clan? Naruto hollered while preparing to attack. You never had to ask. Okay, you two take on Itachi, Sakura you're with me against Fishface and Kaiu, just keep back in case Naruto needs your strength, he'll ask for it. The 5 took up positions and stood at the ready to battle the most powerful team of the Akatsuki. Team Kurenai. They will be here in 2 minutes. Both appear to be Jonin, one male one female. The female appears to be a weapons user like Tenten, while the other appears to rely on his strength by the bulk of his muscles. Hinata informed her view of the Byakugan. Okay, so Kiba and Shino, take on the guy and we'll take out the female. Got it. Kurenai ordered. Hi. They all answered in unison. Before the 2 enemies showed themselves, Shino hid off in the underbrush of the small forest to slowly drain the ninja of their chakra from a safe distance, while Kurenai placed a few to confuse them when the time was right. Faster than most could see, the intruders appeared before them, the big guy with a thud. I believe introductions are in order before we kill you. I am Yukishima, and this is my partner Akuhei. Stated the woman who stood taller than Kurenai, at about 5'7", and wore her dark purple hair, mostly pulled in a ponytail, with the exception of her left side of her face, that was fully hidden with the shimmering locks. She took a few steps closer, giving everyone a look at her almost leather-appearing shirt and pants as they clung to her small head but shapely body. Are you going to introduce yourselves, or are we just going to have to place you all in unmarked graves? She asked while looking over to the giant hulk of a man who was wearing only denim shorts and left his muscled and scarred torso exposed. First, what are you two doing here? Demanded the red-eyed Jonin. We were, hired to take out the ninja academy in the next village to prevent another ninja village from being born. I'll tell you more if you can defeat us. Well, since we can't allow you to do that, we will have to stop you. I am Yuhi Kurenai, Jonin of Konoha. I guess you will have a nice headstone, Kurenai. I'll say something nice over your grave. She drew out a large, but very thin, katana and readied it in front of the group while they tried to figure out why someone would attack with such a flimsy weapon. That question was answered when the kunai Kurenai and Hinata had readied at the same time were cleaved in two, clearly displaying how sharp an edge of a thin blade can be. Biba, with Akamaru at his side, jumped at the woman leading with his outstretched hand, only to contact the large torso of Akuhei, barely even scratching him. Leaping back, Kiba narrowly avoided a huge punch that was thrown as it landed hard on the ground, cracking the earth beneath much like Sakura can, but this had little chakra poured into it. Too bad, kid, your fight is with me, not Yoko. We can't let you get the upper hand now, can we? Well then, muscle heads, you get what you want, let's go, Akamaru. Kiba stooped down with a hand on the huge dog, smiling at the hulk of a man. Jin Bunshin Shikyaku no Jutsu. Between the additional speed and the additional clone running around, the attacks seemed as though they were coming from all directions, causing Akuhei to never even get a single hit in. Seeing all the attacks in full contact fully, Kiba and Akamaru landed a few feet away from him, expecting an easy win. What was that, boy? You barely even scratched me. Kiba had to hold back a gulp when he saw the man standing even taller than before and stretching out his limbs. My turn. Team Kakashi. Well, with all the Sharingan users around, I guess they are out of the picture. That's fine, you all get to have a taste of Samehada, or is that the other way around? The bandages surrounding the scaly blade came off as he readied his attack. Going in for a quick swing with the sword, his slash was ended with a mighty fist from the medic. Her eyes widened when she noticed her punch didn't make the impact it usually does and saw the shark guy grinning. I see you have found the ability of Samehada, it absorbs chakra. Now die. He slashed down once more to cleave through the girdle when he was halted by a small blade. You forgot about me. Fish Kisum started into the Sharingan eye and grunted as he pushed away from the blade lock. Your end is near, Itachi, now die. Sasuke braced his arm in the familiar stance, causing lightning to flow through his hand. Chidori. With the swirling red eyes, he charged at the older Uchiha, and just like years ago, Itachi had no problem grabbing his wrist, freezing his arm inches from his face. Just as predictable as always, Sasuke, you clearly don't have what it takes. Chidori Nagashi. Chidori current, shouted at Sasuke with a smirk as the current flowed through his wrist, causing Itachi to drop his wrist in time to catch Naruto's wrist in the same manner with a blue ball in his hand. You two are alike, too weak and still predictable. Now that I think it is time to bring the demon back, I've wasted too much time. His red eyes shifted into the most advanced form of the Uchiha and stared at the blonde. Tsukiyomi, prepare for 72 hours of torture. The fighting area faded from existence as it was replaced by a dark expanse with a blood-red moon high in the sky. Itachi walked up to the blonde who was chained to a pole and looked into his blue eyes. How would you like to see your friends kill each other for hours on end, or maybe you would find it worse to see all the females being raped by Orochimaru? How about you think about who you are trying to torture? What did you see in my hand? This is indeed powerful, but it can only work on a consciousness weaker than yours and even near your mind. But what if you used it on a mind more powerful? Asked the chained blonde. Quit delaying the inevitable. I have full control over this area, and I am alone. Besides, your mind is far stronger than mine, even with the Kyuubi. That is, if you got him. You caught a blonde holding a blue sphere, but that ball just happened to be foxfire. The blonde on the pole faded away into a stunning female with jet black hair and large dot. How are you doing this? This is my world, I have dominion. There is no way to change forms here. Like I said, that would be true if you had Naruto, but not even your Sharingan can't see through Kitsune illusions. The chains holding the woman loosened and fell to the ground as she stood and approached the Uchiha. She smiled sweetly at him until the smile dropped as pure red tails and ears formed on her body. Welcome, Itachi, to my world. I control everything now. You should have known you can't match minds with a 9,500-year-old demon. Behold the greatest nightmare of all Konoha, the animalistic form of the most powerful demon. I may be a kind demon, but when you attack to destroy my love, I am unforgiving. The girl, she was the brat the entire time, that makes you. You really thought my container is predictable, and now you pay the price at the hand of the very being you came to retrieve. You shall suffer being attacked by all the elements. I will bring you near death with earth, fire, wind, water, and lighting one right after the other for the remainder of the enjoy bastard. After what seemed like an eternity, the fall caused Itachi to let go of the wrist of the now revealed girl and slowly backed away as she suddenly puffed away. "Dism, we leave now." Itachi looked up and saw the real Naruto charging forward alongside Sasuke and knew he couldn't take them at his current state and went for a last-ditch effort. Die by the heat of Amaterasu. Itachi launched black flames at the both of them, expecting them to dodge, giving him the time to escape, but was surprised at what came next. "You aren't leaving, Itachi." Sasuke ran those some hand signs and both hands to the ground. Sanj Crashmon, 3 giant demon gates burst from the ground as the black flame melted through the first two until it was stopped by the third. Itachi went for his retreat and turned around, seeing the trees that used to be there were gone, replaced by 2 Narutos with a ball of swirling chakra each. "Dism, now." Looking over his shoulder, he saw his partner was still tied up in an intense fight between the 2 Konoha nins and had to make his escape on his own. Ton. Rasengan. Naruto launched forward holding his attack, and with the final ditch effort, Itachi grabbed his wrist again to stop the attack but was bewildered by the blonde smirk. Rasengan Nikate. Basically translates Rasengan launch. Like unseen from that attack, the ball of chakra moved away from his hand and flew towards the surprised face of Itachi. His face twisted under the attack, but it only shaved some skin from it with the weakened state of this version of Rasengan. Now Sasuke. The last of the Uchiha jabbed his lightning-filled hand into the cavity of Itachi, reaffirming the title of being the last. Sasuke felt the pulsing of his brother's organ stop before he withdrew his hand and fell to the ground near Naruto. "Itachi!" shouted Kisame as he just caught the last, seeing his heart pierced with a Chidori. His moment of unfocus allowed Sakura to pull his sword around his back as Kakashi looked into his eyes. "Since you are familiar with the Sharingan, say hello to me." Kakashi's one eye transformed into his, instantly transporting Kisame's head to a different location as blood spurted from his severed neck, covering the nearby ninja in the thick fluid. "Ah, gross, Kakashi-sensei," complained Sakura before she saw Kakashi fall backwards onto the ground. "Kakashi-sensei, are you okay?" "Ugh, fine, just chakra exhaustion." Sighing in relief, Sakura stood and walked over towards her other 2 teammates and saw Sasuke sitting on the ground next to Naruto, both panting. "So a few too many Chidori, huh?" voiced Naruto, seeing him tired out. "Yeah, well, you aren't much better," he replied with a smirk. "Well, when Kaio-chan's body was depleted of chakra, it tends to tire me out more for some reason." At this time Sakura ran up to them, looking in the Uchiha's eyes. Sasuke-kun, your eyes are different," Sakura informed me. Naruto looked over at him and smiled. "Well, I guess you just needed to break a bond for it to arise. In your case, you just needed to fulfill your avenging. Enjoy your manjikyu," voiced Naruto before activating his communication device. "Shikamaru, this is Naruto. Kakashi is down from chakra exhaustion and Itachi and Kisame are taken care of. We are in need of cleaning up. I'm going to Hinata to check up on them. Don't worry, I'll stay clear if they are handling it." "Understood, Team Guy, go take care of the cleanup, we'll be there to assist in a moment." Shikamaru out. "On our way," chimed Guy's team. After sending out the communique, Naruto left Sakura with Sasuke and Kakashi and went to see how the battle was going on the other island. Team Kurenai. Their battle was going mostly at a stalemate. Kiba found it easy to dodge Akuhe's attacks, but also found his own attacks were never dodged or blocked, but he still couldn't damage him, while Kurenai and Hinata found it interesting how the single weapons mistress could hold them off effectively. "Well, it has been fun, but it is time to end this, Meijin." Jubaku Satsu. The demon tree bind thing she does, Kurenai disappeared from sight while Hinata drew the nin's attention away from the plant growing at her feet. Before she knew it, Yoko was trapped in the grasp of a large tree, restricting her movements. Just as Kurenai was going for the kill, Hinata noticed the intruding Jonin was still able to move through and was bending her sword with chakra to cut herself free. "Sensei, look out," Hinata yelled as she ran forward. The blade just missed Kurenai as her real target was the girl running forward. Seeing the blade come at her, Hinata immediately stopped on the ball of her foot before effortlessly rotating on it to duck under the blade and her palm forward connecting with a Jaikin to the heart. Hinata ignored the blade as it came back by her while being curved by the chakra and sliced into her flesh on her shoulder, but nothing too bad, so it was ignored. "Well, my oversized friend, I guess you're next." Jinj Kombi Henge. SMTMRM Kiba and Akamaru joined together into one large twin-headed beast after seeing Kurenai and Hinata victorious. Garmga. The massive beast whirled in the air as it crashed into the large man. Due to the guy's slow speed, Kyuubi didn't need to have him marked, so his ultimate attack made full contact. Ow. Coughed the man from his spot on the ground after getting beat down from the attack. My chakra makes a shield out of my skin. I believe that was my doing. Stated Shino as he came out of the bushes recalling all his bugs. My insects devoured your chakra while you were occupied in trying to fight Kyuubi. Sure, he never injured you, but that was never the plan. He was the diversion and would deal the final blow when your chakra was drained. Hinata and Kurenai calmly walked up to them, Hinata carrying the sword, and looked at the downed man on the verge of death. Who were you working for? Demanded Kurenai. Akatsuki, we were to be a diversion so they could acquire the fox. By now it should be captured and our mission is complete. Hinata started tearing up from his statement. Naruto-kun, are you safe? She asked herself when she was surprised by him jumping down in front of her. I'm fine, Hinata-chan, Itachi and Kisame are taken care of, and I think we even got Sasuke to return, but I don't exactly know how. Naruto hugged his fiancée and noticed a cut on her shoulder. Hinata-chan, are you okay? You got cut. I'll be fine, Naruto-kun, it's just a scratch. Hinata gave a small smile before falling completely limp in his embrace. Hinata-chan? He asked while holding her up. Hinata-chan, Hinata. He started yelling louder and getting panicked as he lightly shook her body and slapped her face lightly. He quickly laid her down on the grass and felt for a pulse. What he found was weak and irregular, frightening the hell out of him. He looked at the sword and noticed a strange sheen on the blade dulling the proper ear. Sakura. Get your ass over here now, I think Hinata was poisoned. Naruto screamed into the microphone. What seemed like it took forever actually only happened in seconds as every able-bodied ninja appeared on the island, even Kakashi was there supported by Lee and Sasuke. Sakura ran over to the clammy-feeling girl and ran through a few analyses before looking up with a saddened face. This is a very potent poison. It has already progressed throughout her body and I can't contain and remove it. She needs to get to Tsunade as fast as possible, and even then she may not survive. Lee. Take her to Tsunade as fast as you can, to lose weight. Sakura ordered loudly. Yosh, I shall get her there in less than a day. If I can't do that I will run 500 laps around Konoha on my toes. He exclaimed and he started removing his weights. Naruto-kun, she won't survive that long. You need to take her. I will give you all the chakra I can. It will be dangerous for you, but it will also let the village know when you approach. Be careful and help her. Stop, Lee, I will take her myself. Naruto stooped down and picked up the girl's bridal style and made sure to give her head support. Are you insane, Naruto? Lee is the fastest of us all, not even Guy is faster anymore. Screamed Ino looking at him. Suddenly all the Jonin flinched from a buildup of suffocating pressure around the blonde, while the rest nearly choked to death as the massive amount of demonic chakra bore down on them. No, I am faster. Was his almost demonic sounding voice, before his whisker marks darkened and the red hue of a fox with 5 tails were superimposed on his body with the flailing demonic chakra. Before they could blink, he was gone. They looked in the direction here and were astonished as they saw a clear and dry path through the water and signs of downed trees and branches showing his path through the forest. Holy shit, Akatsuki has no idea who they were after. No one is that powerful. Ino stated in amazement. No, it is because of that power that Akatsuki wants him, it is definitely demonic. Stated Shikamaru. I see, that is how he beat me in the exams, I thought I saw another chakra. He contains the Kyuubi, doesn't he? Asked Niji while he too was looking on in amazement. He was also surprised when 8 of the ninja around him nodded in agreement. Konoha. Dusk was settling in over the village as an eerie red hue illuminated the sky. The older ninja looked at the ominous sign and shivered from seeing that before. Moments later nearly all ninja were out at attention feeling the great mass of chakra coming at them. Tsunade-sama, you made it. Shouted one of the looking out in fear of what was coming. Yeah, it is time you witness your stupidity. How many times have we told you to destroy the demon, but you kept ignoring our requests. Now, we are all going to die since it is free again and coming back to finish what he started. Shouted an older man. Silence all of you. She yelled, making them all fear her more than the incoming danger. The demon is not a threat, that should just be Naruto under extreme duress, and he is using the fox's chakra to move faster. Do not halt his progress and you won't die since this is most likely a medical emergency. If he does ask, I'm at the hospital waiting for him. The large Hokage took off running at top speed, since at the rate the red cloud of chakra was approaching, he may get there before she does. The watching ninja all made a path through the crowd as the popping and crashing of trees being torn apart scared the hell out of them. They were all panicking as they caught a glimpse of the massive aura of chakra approaching, they wanted to run, but were frozen still. Suddenly a single older Anbu member had the balls to stand directly in the path through the crowd as he came close. You will not pass the demon. He shouted. Anbu smiled as he saw the red chakra in front of him was no more until a sudden rush of pain hit him. He looked down and saw 4 deep gashes run from his abs up to his shoulder, where he noticed a bloody stump where his arm should have been. Ahhhh. He screamed in agony as he clutched at his missing arm before falling to the ground screaming some more. Don't just stand there, kill the demon. The fallen Anbu ordered as the rest of the ninjas split up and started to walk away. You disobeyed orders from the Hokage. One started as he shook his head. This was entirely your fault. Stated another. Umbus. Commented a third as he stepped over the Anbu. Back at the hospital, Naruto just came crashing through the doors and set Hinata down on the gurney Tsunade was waiting for. What is wrong with Hinata? She yelled to the blonde. Poison Sakura couldn't heal. He panted out between chokes trying to settle down from the heavy chakra use and gain his breath back. I'll see what I can do, just rest, I'll come back for you. Tsunade quickly pushed the stretcher into the back of the hospital so she could get to work. Naruto smiled before the chakra faded from his body and he landed hard, face first on the cold tile floor. Naruto woke up in a hospital bed being frantically shaken by a haired girl. Naruto. Get your ass up. She shouted. Yeah, I'm up, where's Hinata? He asked as he jumped to his feet. You need to talk to Tsunade, come with me. Naruto didn't like how that sounded and dumbly followed Sakura to a back room where Tsunade was standing carrying a sad face. Cut the shit, Tsunade, what is the deal? He asked clearly seriously. The deal is that the poison is very exotic, I have no idea what it is and how to stop it. Currently the poison has spread to all her organs and even into her bones and brain. Long story short, she will die in less than a day, even if we figured out how to stop it. So that's it. My fiancé is going to die. He asked as tears threatened to fall. I'm afraid Hiashi is already in her room with Hanabi saying goodbye to her. He has told me that you can enter at any time. Naruto didn't say anything as he opened the door quietly and walked into the room. He could see Hiashi was trying to hold back the tears threatening to come out seeing his daughter lying in her deathbed, much like his late wife. Hanabi, on the other hand, clearly wasn't holding her tears back anymore as they frequented her face. She looked up at her father and saw he was standing from the chair by the bed and offered it to the newcomer. It's fine, I'll stand. Hanabi looked at him in slight anger. Who the hell are you to even be here? This should be for family only. I am here because I love her more than you do, she is my fiancé. I was going to marry her at some point. Oh. She replied and turned back to Hinata's overly pale body. Even her seemed to not hold any color. Ayu-chan, is there any way to save her? There might be, but unfortunately it comes with a price, a heavy price. What are you willing to give for her life? You know I would give my life for her. I thought you would say that, that also means that you are willing to give up my life since I am connected to you, remember I die you die. So be it. What are you talking about, Kyuu-chan? I knew this day would come since you met her again, I was just hoping it wouldn't be so soon. This is the reason I demanded that morning, I knew something bad was about to happen and I wanted my last day of freedom to be with you. I know you love me and Ayu, but you love her more. I have seen it, they were only tiny differences, but she will always be your wife and I will always be the beautiful fox that comes out to help and play. Hinata will be my last gift to you my love before I set you free from your burden. What do you mean Kyuu-chan, I don't want either of you to die. I know, but I have lived 9,500 good years and Hinata hasn't even lived 20. My fate was sealed the moment I was trapped inside you. You need her more than you need me. She will keep you company where I can and I will share my power with you both so you may lead a long life with your mate. When you do what I tell you to, you both will enter into the world of the kitsune as a half-demon. You will see new things you never knew existed and have abilities like no other human, but you both will have the fox attributes I had in human form. In a way I will still be with the both of you, since you two will be kitsune with a portion of my blood. If you want to save Hinata, this is the only way. After a few moments of deadly silence passed in his mind he came to an answer. Fine, what do I need to do? I knew that would be your answer. Naruto broke from his chat with the demon and looked over at Hinata's father. Hiashi, do you trust me to do something to Hinata that will appear slightly barbaric to save her life? The usually stoic man looked straight into his eyes. What will it cost? He asked, knowing it was a huge price to pay for a life. It will cost Kyuu-chan and a portion of Hinata's humanity and mine, we will become. Hiashi stood and bowed his head to the floor. She is already yours, you may do so as you wish. I could never ask you for what you are about to do. I know, but just promise me that you will tell her you are proud of her and spread the word that Hinata and I have removed the demon from this world and that they have nothing left to fear. Hiashi stood and nodded in agreement. It shall be done. He stated. Naruto grimly walked to the hospital bed and climbed on top of the girl, resting himself down on her thighs before pulling off most of the hospital gown, revealing her stomach, and most of her, all that remained covered, was from the waist down and a little over half of her dot. Taking a deep breath, Naruto took out a kunai and set it on her bare skin before removing all the wires and instruments from her body. Immediately alarm sounded from being disconnected and he put the plan into motion. He grabbed the kunai and ran a 3-inch gash in Hinata's pale skin between her upon her sternum and another right below her navel. The gashes bled quickly, causing the thick red fluid to run everywhere while Naruto slashed the palms of his hands. Tsunade and Sakura both rushed in, gasping at the sight of Naruto holding a kunai and blood being everywhere, and charged forward until they could see his move and a quiet voice emitting from those dot. "Goodbye, Kyuu-chan." Naruto his bloodied hands down onto her skin, covering each of her gashes with the ones on his hands, and started forcing raw chakra into her near lifeless body. His blue chakra and the red from the demon intermixed and turned a lavender color as he kept pumping more chakra than anyone could imagine a person having, until finally the dam broke, releasing the seal on the soul of the Kyuubi. Chakra literally filled the room, throwing energy in every direction, knocking over equipment and causing the onlookers to stumble. They saw an ethereal body of a 9-tailed fox morph into the shape of a human before it bent down and lightly at both Naruto and Hinata before it shifted back into a fox flying into the air, where she split into 2 smaller foxes, one of 4 tails and one of 5, and dove into their bodies, the 4 tail into Hinata and the 5 to Naruto. A sudden flash of pure blue and lavender exploded from their bodies, throwing each of the onlookers through the wall, taking all the equipment with them. All the occupants of the room, minus Naruto and Hinata, now lay in a pile of wrecked equipment and devices, completely unconscious. About 30 minutes later, Tsunade was finally coming around from the constant shaking coming from Shizune. "Tsunade, what the hell happened here?" She looked around the area and saw all the expensive machines piled in the corner, all completely destroyed. "Where is Naruto, is he alright?" Tsunade replied as she attempted to get up. "I guess you could say he is fine, right now he is sleeping with Hinata in his arms, and it is quite cute." "Wait, Hinata doesn't look sick." "Well, I'm not an expert in that species, but she looks fine." The Hokage looked at her strangely before finally being able to stand and walked into the room that was completely empty, except for the one hospital bed. Looking to the bed, she saw Naruto caringly holding the young Hyuga covered with what appeared to be fur. "What did he do?" Tsunade continued staring at them from a distance as the others finally came to and joined her in staring. "I guess he really does love her." Hiashi started looking at them. "What exactly do you mean, Hiashi-sama?" asked Sakura. "For what he gave up for her life. You should ask him about it." "Well, let's wake him then," suggested the tiny Hyuga, joining them. The group shrugged, never really thinking of that, and quickly nominated Sakura to wake him. She stepped up to the bed and reached out, lightly touching Naruto's arm. "Naruto, wake up," she urged, shaking him from his sleep. He started to stir until his eyes opened and saw the face of Hinata full of life, sleeping happily. He really could only smile, and those soft of hers making her come from her slumber and deepen the gentleness. "Naruto-kun, why are we in a hospital?" she asked while yawning, showing the elongated fangs of her new heritage. "Do you know how cute you look now?" Naruto asked with a smile. "What do you mean, Naruto-kun?" She finally locked her eyes on him and saw that his pupils were slitted but still kept the brilliant blue color. "Why do your eyes look weird as well, much like Kyuu-chan? By the way, where is Kyuu-chan?" She watched his smile falter as he looked away. "Well, Kyuu-chan is here in a way, but we can't see her anymore and she will never be joining us in the normal way." "But why?" "I liked her," Hinata mentioned quietly. "I know, but we did something to allow you to live. She doesn't exist anymore. I no longer have anyone living inside me." "Where is she? Why am I here?" she asked as tears made their way down her face. "You were a few hours away from dying after an exotic poison ran through your system from that strange flimsy sword. As for where she is, feel your ass." She looked strangely at him and ran her hand behind her body and ran into fur, but what was really weird was she could feel the touch on the furred appendage as well as her hand. She followed the fur up further, feeling the softness and the joy of the feeling she got in the appendage from the touch. "I have a tail. You should be able to feel all of them, but it feels weird when you discover another one. I think I have 5, which would mean you should have 4. Come on and get up, you should really see your cute ears." She looked at him again and finally noticed the charcoal-colored ears in the midst of his blonde hair, making her smile. He helped her up, trying to keep her covered with her hospital gown, and led her past the gaping mouths of the onlookers to the remnant of a mirror still hanging on the wall. Hinata looked in the mirror and smiled while looking at her lavender ears tipped with fur, the exact color of her hair. She turned to the side and admired her 4 tails colored exactly the same as her ears and giggled as she stroked them caringly. She turned to her fiancé and smiled, seeing his dark tail swishing behind him, signifying that he liked what he was seeing. "So what are you now?" asked Hanabi looking at the two before them. Hinata turned to Naruto as well, waiting for an answer. Ayu-chan, the Kyuubi, merged her power and soul with ours. Basically she gave her life to save Hinata's so we could be together. I really didn't want her to go, but I need Hinata in my life, so the best way the three of us could still be together was for this union. Technically we are Kitsune Hanyu, half demons of the Vulpine, and the Kyuubi does not exist anymore. Naruto guided his fiancée back to the bed where they laid down again, snuggling into each other and wrapping their tails around each other. We'll talk about this more later, but my Vixen and I need some more sleep. This merger took a lot out of us. Naruto and Hinata on the nose before closing his eyes and letting sleep drag him down. Hinata, you really did pick a good man to marry you, I am proud of you my daughter. Hinata's eyes watered after finally hearing those words as Hiashi turned away from her. Thank you father, I always knew what type of man he was, I'm just glad you see it as well. Following Naruto's lead she closed her eyelids over her still pupil-less eyes following her blonde into sleep. Over the next 3 days, Naruto and Hinata stayed in the hospital sleeping the entire time, of course they woke up to take care of the usual daily necessities. Finally they were rested enough to wake up fully and go about their day, but first they needed to wake up. Naruto woke first and looked over to his new Vixen and led her to wake her up. She of course woke up and was in love with all the love she had and finally ended it, not realizing she was now on top of him. She then buried her face in his neck and started sobbing. I'm sorry Naruto-kun, Kayu-chan is gone and you loved her. I'm so sorry she is gone, you should have let me die. SHH, it will be fine Hinata-chan. He told her while rubbing her back. This was a choice I made and she knew it was coming, which was why she kept pushing us together. It was said that when a full-blooded kitsune reached the 9th and final tail, that they would receive some type of omnipotent sense. I think she knew what was coming, but didn't know when or how. If it makes you feel better, just know that she will always be with us since we are both infused with her very being. Now come on and let's find some lunch and see what we can do with these upgraded bodies. They got out of bed and found it very difficult to get properly dressed with the extra appendages, but with some well-placed cuts from a kunai, they managed. As they walked down the streets of the village, they found it interesting that they didn't get even the slightest comment about their new attributes, nor even a stray look. They found themselves at Ichiraku's for lunch and sat down waiting for their orders to be taken. Hey Naruto, what can I get you? Asked Tucci, the owner of the restaurant. I'll go with 10 pieces of beef, with extra beef. He replied with a smile. Sure thing, and what about your foxy lady? He asked with a smile. I'll have half of what he's having. She replied feeling very hungry at the moment. It'll be just a moment, so how do you two keep those tails clean? I wouldn't know how to care for a tail. The old man inquired, surprising them. Yeah about that, do you think it is strange to have a tail? Naruto asked. Nah, you two have been like that for so long that no one notices. Wait, but we only Naruto quickly silenced Hinata with a look. I think Kayu-chan did something to how people perceive us, maybe like but either way, this is good. She caught on quickly to his explanation and agreed right as their bowls arrived. After chowing down on the food, they paid the man and left to find a training ground to see exactly what they can and can't do with the change to their bodies. On their way to the training grounds, they noticed something following them passing through buildings and people completely unnoticed by anyone. Both thought that it was just a glare of the sun or something and carried on their way and settled in at the training area. Alright Hinata, I say we try out all our skills and see if there are any differences, you go first. Naruto suggested. Hi. Hinata walked into the middle of the area and started her usual training regiment. She tried to activate her Byakugan, but was surprised when it just came on from the thought of using it. She turned to Naruto and was amazed seeing all his and the way his chakra traveled, and even noticed a large system of chakra conduits leading to his tails, meaning could probably be executed with those tails. Moving on she started into her Taijutsu. She felt the moves come easier and faster than before and attempted some of the more advanced moves. Pain. She hollered as she whipped around on her axis expelling the chakra from her system. When she stopped spinning, she noticed the area 5 feet around her was destroyed and she was now standing in a hole about 3 feet deep. Whoa, that was awesome Hinata-chan. Naruto cheered from the sidelines. Yeah it was, I haven't been able to do that before and even my father can't do it like that. Naruto stands up and runs to her giving her a huge hug. Well, I guess it is my turn. Hinata ran to the place where he was sitting previously, giving him room for his techniques. Naruto settled in and started off doing some hand signs before bringing his hand to the ground. Doten. Yomi Numa, swamp of the underworld, he looked forward and noticed absolutely nothing. What the hell? I put enough chakra into that to turn this whole area into a death swamp. Hinata had her Byakugan active and was watching his techniques. Naruto-kun, something was wrong, try another dot she called out to him. Shrugging, he went to another favorite. Ton. to Toppa, great breakthrough, once again he got absolutely nothing after the appropriate hand signs. I think I know what is going on with Naruto-kun, try Rasengan. He nodded and held out his hand, within seconds the ball of chakra was sitting there in his hand effortlessly. Hey Hinata-chan, this is really easy. He smiled wide and held out his other hand and found a sphere there as well. Try using your tails, they have about the same ability as a hand. She called again, still watching from afar. Naruto happily complied and fanned out his tails, with a brief amount of concentration 5 more spheres came into existence. Stay there Hinata, I want to try something. Naruto dispersed all the Rasengans and held his 2 hands apart from each other, concentrating hard on his hands. A surge of chakra jumped outward into his hands and swirled between them. With a smile Naruto increased the spinning motion, and the chakra poured into it as the size grew to about twice the size of his head. Wanting to take it further, he poured some elemental chakra until it looked like a revolving spiked ball. Naruto-kun, wait. The warning wasn't heard due to the racket being made by the wind rushing around his body. On. Cowed eye, grand or impressive, Rasengan. Naruto edged the sphere at an angle to the ground, the ball crashed into the earth, digging further into the ground than Hinata's Katen. He expected the attack to disperse at that moment like the rest of his Rasengan variations, but instead it continued forward digging a trench 3 feet deep and 6 feet wide straight into the small, nearby forest, ripping apart tree limbs on its way to the village wall. Upon contacting the chakra-enforced wall, it came to a halt as Hinata and Naruto sighed in relief, that was until the wall crumbled and the attack carried on into the large surrounding forest, disappearing from sight. They felt a rumbling in the earth, and suddenly a large gust of wind rushed back towards them blowing debris all around the village. Shit. Naruto said in a questioning tone. Naruto-kun you idiot. I told you to wait. Hinata screamed. Sorry Hinata-chan, I didn't hear you, it was very loud, oh and why is that little fox sitting next to you? Hinata looked down and saw nothing until she deactivated her, and right there sat a translucent white 2-tailed fox. Hi, what are you doing here? She questioned looking at the little fox. You two can see me? It asked with a curious expression. Well yeah, you are a bit see-through, but we can see you. Naruto informed me. That is strange, I smell that you are human, just hold on. They watched the small fox morph into the shape of a young kid, maybe 13 or 14, and fade into a solid form. Well I'll be, you are kitsune, but a black and lavender furred ones. I've only heard of a single black one since they are so rare, and I've never heard of a lavender one, especially one with such strange eyes. Yeah, well there is a story behind that, we aren't full-blooded kitsune, we are kitsune hanyu. Naruto mentioned as he walked closer to him. So are you 2 siblings, and who might be your parents? Naruto looked at Hinata and started to laugh. No, we are definitely not siblings, we're lovers are engaged to be married. We came to save Hinata from dying with the help of someone we both cared for greatly, but she is no more. Really? I haven't heard of a kitsune no imkai doing that, who was she? She really had to be powerful. We called her Kayu-chan, she was very nice and very fun in bed, and she really liked having her tails brushed. She was sealed inside me so she didn't have to be destroyed when her mind was manipulated by another. I don't really know what her name was if she had one, but she was known around here as the Kyuubi no Kitsune, hence her name Kayu-chan. The young boy looked sad and awed by their story. We Kitsune only have our rank as a name along with our status. I am a Myobu Ninko. Myobu celestial foxes associated with a Nari Ninko is an invisible fox spirit that human beings can only perceive when it possesses them, a spirit commanded by a Nari, the fox god. I was sent here to search for the new Kyuubi since it was said she no longer existed and that I would be amazed by who it was to be. And I have to say I am very surprised. Usually the next strongest kitsune in line would be given the title, but the power of a black 5-tail is more potent than that of an 8-tail. What do you mean by the new Kyuubi? Are you saying that I am to hold some office or something? Naruto wondered. No, there are just some assignments given out over time that need to be carried out similar to the ninja ranking system. Usually it deals with removing a great evil from influencing the world. So then, I guess I will be training you in the kitsune arts since my aunt isn't here anymore. Wait, your aunt was Kayu-chan? Yep, her sister is my mother. We were all saddened that she disappeared and we didn't care for her dealing in mortal relationships, but she really needed to feel what love was, and apparently she did. One thing all demons, good or bad, choose above all else is to preserve their own life, therefore she loved the both of you greatly to freely give her life for you too, so be honored. Alright then, what should we call you? Inquired Hinata. I think Ninko should do just fine. He replied. Alright, it seems weird, but what should we do first Ninko-sensei? Shouted Naruto happily before an ominous presence was detected. First you will tell me how you caused this mess, and then you will clean up this mess starting with the wall. Ordered Tsunade who just leapt in front of the 3 with a team of Anbu. I think I used too much chakra in a Rasengan. Naruto shyly mentioned with a grin. How was that a Rasengan? That contained more chakra than half of the village. If I may Hokage-sama, it would be due to the concentration of chakra Naruto has from being a black kitsune. His chakra control sucks at low power, but it is nearly perfect with huge amounts. Unfortunately for them, they will both have to be retrained, since they can no longer do using hand signs. They must all be made of raw chakra, but luckily both of their best techniques are based on that. Explained Ninko. And who are you? She asked. I will be their new teacher, but don't be fooled by my appearance, I am 25 years old. Fine, but first clean up this mess. You will both be under the supervision of Yamato, while Kakashi and Kurenai are on inactive duty. Tsunade-sama, what is wrong with Kurenai-sensei? The Hokage smiled brightly at Hinata after her question was voiced. Well, it seems as though there will be another Sarutobi with us in the next 8 months. Sensei is pregnant. That's wonderful, I can't wait to congratulate her. Cheered Hinata as she was bouncing happily. Yes, you should both do that before you two leave. Tsunade mentioned again. Wait, what do you mean by leave? We barely got back. Whined Naruto. I have decided that the two of you will leave on a training mission to master your kitsune abilities, so we don't have a mishap like today. Initially I was going to attempt to find an instructor to help, but with your new instructor arriving on its own, that is taken care of. The good part is that there is no longer a demon within you, so Akatsuki will be leaving us alone for the time being. We will just need you here after that year, which should be when they will re-emerge again. You two will be our greatest asset if that comes to pass. Until then, Sasuke will be trained with Sakura to be in the support role. I guess that is fine, we will see you in a year, Bachan, and don't worry, I have an idea for fixing the wall. The blonde kitsune smiled wide. How many times do I have to tell you to quit calling me old? She screamed at him with a twitch in her eye. Less than Shizune has told you to stop drinking. He shouted back as he took off running down the trench the Rasengan created. I'll pay you back when you return, and trust me, there is no way you will refuse the punishment I have planned. The busty Hokage turned around and walked back to the tower to complete the paperwork forced upon her with the title. Naruto was finally joined by the wall with Ninko and Hinata and was talking about his plan for the wall and ways to execute it when Yamato appeared before them. So you two are the cause of the disturbance, I should have known it was you, Naruto. My name is Yamato and I use the element of wood. It is basically a bloodline, so you can't learn it. You fix the wall and I'll take care of the forest. Yamato didn't stick around for long until he was gone to regrow the trees annihilated by the Rasengan. That was strange, I trained with him for a week and that is all he has to say. Anyways, do you think it should work? Naruto asked the two remaining kitsune. Yes, definitely. Not sure where you thought of that, but that will be perfect to defend the village. Ninko replied. Perfect, let's get started. Naruto and Hinata both placed their hands on the wall and pushed a large amount of chakra into it, and immediately the hole sealed up, but they didn't stop, they increased the output by at least tenfold until they visually saw the wall shift from the deteriorated cement block wall into a smooth concrete reinforced seamless wall. Basically like how in an RTS game, similar to Empire Earth, when you advance in age from the stone medieval walls to the modern bunker style walls. Always cool to watch. That took too much chakra from Naruto-kun. Hinata panted as she fell to the ground. Yeah, but look at that wall, it is awesome. Naruto declared as he came over to her and fell right beside her. We should rest here for a while. It was at this time that Yamato returned and nearly crapped himself looking at the strength of the wall. I guess you fixed the wall quick enough, but is it really as strong as it looks? He asked. Yeah, but you will need to have some ninja push chakra into the wall every day over the next year to keep it permanent, after that it will stay. All that someone needs to do is come to this point in the wall and place their hands on the handprints Hinata-chan and I left behind. When the wall refuses chakra, then they can stop. It could be a perfect chakra reserve exercise where you can drain all your chakra safely and let it fill back up again. Naruto informed from his spot on the ground with Hinata's head lying on top of him. Neat, I guess I'll be seeing you two in a year then. You bet, see ya. Yamato disappeared once more, leaving them alone until they saw the face of Ninko looking at them. Let me guess, it is training time already. So you can see the obvious, we will be traveling to a spot only Kitsune knows about, it is the border where the spiritual world and the physical world intersect. Once we are there, we will be able to step into the world of the Myopu and begin your training. I'm guessing that we can't tell our friends that we will be leaving, so let's get going. Naruto stood and held out a hand for Hinata to take and helped her to her feet. Finally the three Kitsune disappeared into the forest, leaving their home for another year. Time warp. Time hasn't been good to Konoha. For the past 3 months, 9 months after Naruto and Hinata left, they have been involved in an all-out war that was started by the combined efforts of the remaining Akatsuki and the remnants of the Sound Village that all came together to carry out their final plans of complete domination. Of the major villages, only Konoha and Suna are involved, while the rest are most likely waiting it out to see who will remain. Unfortunately, not much help was offered by the Sand, since there was a need for all their efforts to be on securing their own security. Tsunade-sama, we have bad news, we are taking heavy hits to our ranks. Currently we have few casualties thanks to the combined effort of Sakura, Ino, and Shizune, but we have very few able-bodied ninja left to defend our village. I'm afraid that if another wave arrives, our lines will fall and we will lose our walls to the enemy. Informed the head strategist, Shikamaru. This is unacceptable, Shikamaru. You are our lead tactician, there must be a way to become victorious. Demanded Tsunade. I'm afraid that we just don't have the numbers or the luxury of time to survive. If there was some way to keep up a defense while we regroup, there could be a chance, but as it is now, negotiating terms may be the best option. That is unacceptable. If our village falls, then so will the remaining villages. With our resources at their disposal, there will be no stopping them. Right at that moment I ran through the door. Tsunade-sama, it's horrible, a huge wave of enemy forces are converging on our location. They outnumber us 10 to 1. Tsunade quickly stood and faced the lazy ninja. Shikamaru, sounds the alarm, all ninjas are organized. If they can stand with a kunai at the ready, I want them assembled. We either win or we die trying. Now move. In less than 5 minutes all remaining ninja, including the Hokage and Jiraiya, were assembled outside of the Konoha gates. Jiraiya, should we summon the bosses? Tsunade asked while looking at the mass of ninja approaching their location. It would be pointless, every other time we have summoned them the Akatsuki leader would release one of the demons, which always leads to casualties on our side. The toad replied. So we have nothing to tip the balance then? Apparently not, let's hope for the best. They watched as hundreds of enemy ninja continued to march onward until all hell broke loose. Medium to long range were hurled in and from every direction. With this type of battle, the huge were ruled out, since it could cause your downfall to use so much chakra in a battle that could last days, so everyone had to resort to pure taijutsu and around level. It looked like an ancient medieval battle as the ninja were crashing through the line, swiping weapons at and through each other. After the first minute of battle, it was obvious Konoha wouldn't be able to hold out for too much longer, even with the droves of enemies being fallen by the Hokage's strength, rupturing the ground below. There just plain wasn't enough manpower, and they were being overwhelmed not even halfway into the enemy ranks. What they needed was something to take out nearly 1,000 ninja in a single strike. Hitsune Bai. Fueton. Kaudai Rasengan. Jiraiya and Tsunade looked towards the familiar voices and witnessed a dark-haired girl with 6 lavender tails flowing behind her, with both her hands nearly 2 feet apart at her left side, holding a huge ball of blue fire. Mirroring her pose stood the blonde-haired ninja, with his 9 charcoal tails, holding a huge spiky ball resembling the prize of the yondaime, only a few inches away from the ball of fire. Tatsumaki Kitsune Inferno. Tornado Kitsune Inferno, chorused the 2 Kitsune as they put their hands forward combining theirs. The wind-powered Rasengan fed massive amounts of oxygen to the brilliant blue flame, increasing the size until it burst into a massive funnel of raging flames nearly 60 feet wide at the base, tearing through the enemy, breaking their formation, and scattering them all in every direction. Gather the injured and retreat behind the village walls, now. Hollered Naruto as the blaze kept ravaging the countryside. You heard him, go. Ordered Tsunade. Every ninja able to walk grabbed the nearest downed ally and took off for the village walls. Naruto, the enemy forces have regrouped and are giving pursuit, if we gather here, there will be battles within our walls. Tsunade voiced her concern as they waited for the final ninja to enter, so they could close the gate. Has the wall been maintained properly like I instructed Yamato? He asked with authority. Yes, but it seemed to take a huge amount of chakra to keep it filled. Is there a reason for the massive amounts it absorbed? Only one, Hinata-chan. He called out. Knowing what he wanted her to do, Hinata ran to the other side of the gate and placed her hands on the wall. Right after the gate was shut, Naruto did the same as they both channeled chakra into the wall. Guardian Wall. A dark blue translucent dome formed over the village originating from the walls surrounding the village. With sweat pouring off their faces, Naruto and Hinata came in front of the Hokage again. We have about 1 week before the chakra loaded into the wall is exhausted, so let's all prepare our counterattack and take it to these bastards. He informed her. We will get to that in a moment, but first we need to get everyone to the hospital. On it, ready to go, beautiful? He asked, looking at the shorter woman beside him. Let's do it, Naruto-kun. Hinata pulled her fiancé to her him deeply as 10 pairs mirroring them appeared. What the hell was that? Tsunade asked, wondering what exactly they needed to do. That is a special kitsune bushin that only Hinata and I can execute since to mold the chakra correctly, we have to. They are stronger than cage bunshin, but are difficult to create. But I have to say, I really like training with these, whoever thought it could be training. With a smile, all clones carefully moved all the injured to the hospital in just a few minutes. After seeing they were all stabilized, Tsunade led the couple back to a larger conference room where the council was just recently convened. "Ah-chan, why have you brought us here?" Naruto asked to see many influential members of the village sitting among them. "We are here because it must be done. I'm sure you recognize all these people, they now make up the entire village council, since many of the previous members mysteriously disappeared after you left," she told him with a grin. "So what exactly is it that must be done? It was proven to me today that there is a need for a much younger and energetic person in command of the forces, especially in this war. We need someone that can think on his toes in situations and yet is able to plan according to strengths. As such, the village council has approved my appointment of the next Hokage. Uzumaki Naruto, upon your 20th birthday you will be given the title of Hokage, that is of course if there is a village left to be a Hokage of. Do you accept it?" Naruto's eyes went wide from that revelation, but he quickly gathered himself again. "I will accept on only one condition, there must also be a wedding on that day for me and Hinata-chan." Now Naruto took the time to smile, especially when Hinata nearly took him to the ground, pouring out her affection on him in front of the council. "Now how could we resist that?" Tsunade replied with a smile. "Now tomorrow we will start our plans, you two should get some sleep. You look wasted from all that chakra you expended today." "Thank you, we will definitely do that," Hinata announced before she took Naruto's hand and pulled him out of the building. "Come on Naruto-kun, let's go home, we haven't been there in about a year and a half." "Sure, why, I'd love to. We haven't fully relaxed in ages." They walked hand in hand to the old apartment and quickly unlocked and entered the building. The next morning the couple were awakened by a knocking at the door. Not wanting to get up from their positions, they continued laying there hoping the person would leave. Unfortunately the knocking didn't stop and persisted. "Yeah, what?" yelled the blonde, quite angry at being interrupted. "It is Sakura and Sasuke, we need to talk, are you decent?" called the medic from the other side of the door. "Not really, but get your ass in here anyways, it's unlocked." Sakura twisted the knob and cautiously opened the door, leery about what she would see. Stepping into the room, she let out a sigh of relief when she saw they had everything important covered with their tails. "Hey Sakura, I thought you said Sasuke came with you." Sakura looked behind her and saw he was missing. He did. Sasuke, get your ass in here or you're sleeping on the couch." Naruto snickered at him being controlled like that as the Uchiha strolled into the room, as his eyes almost left his face, seeing Hinata's completely bare back and obviously wearing nothing else. "You have your own Uchiha, eyes off mine," commented Naruto, seeing the direction of his gaze. "Like I would want to waste my time looking at her, there isn't anything interesting about the way she looks," Sasuke defended. "Sure Sasuke, you were just looking at her like a piece of meat, besides she has nothing that is better than Sakura, except well, maybe her larger, nicer attitude, her love, her fox features, her eyes, her strength, and the list can go on." "Whatever Naruto, you are just jealous you never got to see me naked," Sakura chimed in. "Well, I did see you topless that time Kaio-chan took your shirt and I was very disappointed." "Naruto." She screamed and nearly hit him, but noticed Hinata was still sleeping on him. "Hey Naruto, why is Hinata sleeping through all this?" she asked as Hinata shifted. "Well, she was sleeping before you nearly hit me, now she is waking up." "Oh, sorry." Sakura apologized. Hinata squirmed some more and let out a yawn before turning her head to the side looking at their guests. "Hi Sakura," she muttered out sleepily. "Hey Hinata, how did you sleep through all that noise?" "I sleep more soundly now since, because of my condition." Sakura looked at her worriedly. "Well, what is it? What is wrong with you? Is it something I can fix?" Naruto and Hinata just laughed lightly at her questions. "Nothing is wrong, this is normal, and I'd kill you if you stopped it. I'm pregnant," Hinata informed them. "Huh, you're what, aren't you young to be having kids? Don't you know there are ways to stop this?" Sakura asked, thinking it would be the end of the world if someone had kids before they were in their 20s. "Quiet Sakura, we took precautions and it still happened and we will never change it. I have noticed that no one will ever be ready for children, so we are ready now as we'll ever be." "Now, what was the reason for being here?" Naruto asked, being angered slightly. "Oh, we were asked to assemble all the high-ranking ninja, and actually all of our friends are now Jonin, you two are the only ones not, and since you, Naruto, only had a temporary promotion, you are still Genin. Anyways, we are meeting our new military leader that is rumored to be accepted as Hokage in a few months, so show some respect and don't be late." Sakura turned around and pulled Sasuke out of the apartment and shut the door behind her. Alright Hinata-chan, I suppose we don't want to keep this idiot waiting, let's go meet the new Hokage and see how big of a moron he is. Naruto smiled at her before picking her up and carrying her to the bathroom for a shower as she giggled the entire way. After their shower, they got dressed and hurried to the Hokage tower. Upon entering the larger conference room, they were greeted by the faces of all their friends and teachers. Every single one of them was there, including Konohamaru and his team, as well as many Anbu members. Hey Ba-chan, Sakura came by and said there was some idiot we needed to meet. She said he was a loser and wasn't fit to be a future Hokage, or something like that. Naruto saw Sakura start fuming from his words. Naruto. You're the only idiot and one not fit to be Hokage in the future, now show some respect, he may be in this very room. Naruto just laughed while Hinata was giggling as they took a seat in the room. Tsunade looked at him incredulously. Naruto, you kept your mouth shut? She asked. Of course, I don't need it to seem like a lie now, do I? Tsunade-sama, what are you talking about? Sakura asked, noticing something out of the ordinary. Easy, she is saying that Naruto is the one taking the title. In your mission to Wave, Kakashi and Kurenai asked many questions that you thought were to determine your strengths or teaching, were actually devised to test Naruto on his tactics and knowledge. Also when Akatsuki came while in the country, he chose to delegate out the strategy to one with more ability. Shikamaru informed them lazily. Shikamaru is right, the Hokage isn't always the strongest and smartest of all ninjas, but one that knows how to use the strengths of those under their leadership. Naruto has proven both his strength and ability to make important decisions under extreme conditions and has the full approval of the new council, so he will be the Rakudame Hokage when he reaches the minimum age to take the title, which will happen in a few months. Tsunade recited. Now that is cleared up, Naruto and Hinata will be heading a group. Shikamaru started, but was quickly interrupted by Naruto. Sorry, but Hinata is staying in the village from now on. What is the reasoning behind pulling one of our strongest fighters from the war, and it better not be because of your relationship? The Hokage demanded. Well, not exactly, but she has another she needs to think about keeping from harm other than herself. He replied with a smile. What do you mean? Oh, I see. Your request has been granted. Now, what do you suggest our course of action be? Well, I believe the only way to end the war is to take out the leader. Since he commands the Biju, we must put an end to him, and then Gamabunta and the other bosses can be summoned to take care of the rest effortlessly, but let's just keep Manda out of it because he wants too much payment. Sure, that is a great idea on paper, but how do you suggest we defeat someone with 8 Biju under their command? Shikamaru asked. Well, that is where a specialized team is needed. With the correct people, defeating them will be a cinch. Since Yamato has the ability to suppress demon chakra, I will require his assistance mostly. I would also like to take Sasuke, since the Uchiha seem to have a latent ability in that area as well, and I think taking Sakura with us will be all I need to ensure we come back. I would suggest all the ninja with a summoning contract stay at Konoha to repel the forces when we engage the Biju, and the rest I let Shikamaru delegate. What makes you say defeating 8 troublesome demons will be easy to accomplish? Easy, Shikamaru, I am the new Kyuubi, and I have the ability to defeat at least half with my own strength. It will just be easier with a few suppressing their power when I reseal them. So how do you plan on doing this? A demon like these can really only be sealed in a human child like you were. Tsunade asked. There is a crystalline gem that was given to a powerful leader that has near infinite space held within. Once the crystal has been activated, it will absorb all the demons in existence and implode, destroying all of them. The crystal has never been used since there once was a benevolent demon that lived on this earth, but now she is gone. Naruto explained. Okay, where do we find this crystal? Simple, it was given to a Hokage by the being that granted his power over demon energy and made into a necklace, the necklace I am wearing. So grandfather's necklace was designed to defeat the Biju. I guess we have a plan now. We will reconvene in 3 days for everyone to fully rest up and to finish the details of the counter-attack. We will move ahead in 3 days, you are dismissed. Naruto quickly stood up, pulling Hinata to her feet with him. Hey guys, how about we go to Ichiraku's for some ramen, I'm buying. Of course every one of his generation took him up on that offer, so the old rookie 9, Team Guy, and Konohamaru's team all gathered at the stand, maxing out the capacity. The group questioned the couple on many things, including their strength and of course their pregnancy. Konohamaru kept going on about being beaten for Hokage again, while most just laughed it off as they finished their meal. The next few days until the meeting, Sasuke, Sakura, Naruto and Yamato trained themselves to work as a team again, while Hinata watched and did her own training. Everyone felt strange going on, like a war wasn't currently happening, especially with a weird blue dome hovering above their head, but they had a feeling of security, knowing there could be no attacks on them as long as they saw the shield. The surprising thing for all the villagers was that it just happened to be the one they shunned that was able to give them the feeling of security. Looking back, many of the villagers felt ashamed of their treatment, especially after finding out he truly was his own person and banished the demon from his body, of course, after Hiashi pounded it into a few. All the ninja were currently in attendance at the early morning meeting, where they were finalizing the plans for the counter-attack. Jiraiya has just returned from information gathering and nearly killed himself on the defense grid when he forgot to drop the passageway, but what he has found is that the enemy is apparently massing for one last strike. Shikamaru stands and pulls open a huge map of the area and lays out the battle plan. Now the attack will be a simple one. Naruto's team will head out first and attempt the assassination of their leader and destroy the Biju. Once the Biju have been eradicated, Naruto will signal us, and the second wave of the assault will commence with the boss summons to thin out their ranks. Once that has been completed, eliminate or capture any other ninja. It was at this time that Tsunade took control for the final pep talk. Since the enemy is organizing, we need to take them down before they finish. Naruto, your team will assemble and begin the operation immediately. People, the fate of Konoha and possibly the world depend on this single day. Naruto, now is the time to prove yourself to the world, show them you can be trusted with their lives. You know I will, Tsunade, I will prevail for the sake of my village, my future wife, and my unborn child. I will not and I cannot fail. Strangely serious, Naruto stood and left out the door after throwing on his overcoat. That one scares me when he is serious. Just that look makes you believe he can do anything. You will be a great leader, thought Tsunade as she watched their last hope walk out of the room. Naruto's team was currently making their way through the trees in the direction of their target. Okay, what we need to do is draw out the Biju. We only need 2 out for the crystal to have enough power to draw out the others. Most likely it will be the 2 weakest, making them the Shukaku, the one-tailed Tanuki, and Nibi, the 2-tailed cat. The easiest way would be to bring out a summon lower than the boss, so Sasuke, summon a large snake when we find him, and I'll act as the other. Yamato, you will need to try and suppress some of the chakra of the demons to let us survive longer until I activate the crystal. And how long will that take? Sakura asked. About 3 minutes, so you need to survive that long. Great survival, 3 minutes with a demon, just great. She commented in reply. Welcome to my world. I lived with a demon my whole life, and then I became one, partly. Holding up a hand, Naruto signaled to be silent as they were breaking into enemy territory. With their years of stealth training on the line, they hurried through the trees deep within the enemy encampment. With another sign, Naruto stopped them all high on one of the branches. Now the first problem, he whispered to his team, we have no idea what this guy looks like other than he should be wearing Akatsuki rings, 8 of them to be exact. That was one of the reasons he gave those rings to the members. They would secretly drain chakra from their wearers to create a holding cell for each of the Biju. Unfortunately, when everyone came to help Hinata, they were able to retrieve the rings from Kisame and Itachi. Anyways, we should just go right down into the middle of the camp by that huge tent and call him out, plain and simple. So the plan is to not have a plan? Sasuke asked in exasperation. Exactly, I do my best thinking in the middle of a fight, and really we just need to occupy the Biju, so who needs a plan for that? Acknowledging the simplicity of that, the guys took off, leaving Sakura in the trees for backup and medical support. They leaped from the tree line, flinging kunai to take down the ninja guarding the large tent. Suiten. Hahonrik. Fuiten. Rasengan. Hafksuka no Jutsu. Drowning Maelstrom technique, the one from the manga, chorused Naruto and Yamato as they combined their techniques into a giant waterspout, tearing through the large command tent, sending ninja guards in every direction. When the attack subsided, there stood a giant wall of sand. Well, I see Konoha has sent a few ninja to attempt to assassinate me, but you will fail. The sand wall disappeared into the ground, revealing the 5'10" man with bridge piercings and 8 rings upon his SA. If it isn't the boy that messed up all my plans and removed the Kyuubi from himself, quite the undertaking, but without the demon you have no chance of even standing up to Shikaku. Well, I guess Akatsuki isn't as informed as you think. I never removed the Kyuubi from my body, I became the next one. Naruto dropped the kitsune illusion he was hiding under, revealing his 9 charcoal-colored tails. Foolish boy, not even the previous Kyuubi could stand up against all the Biju. No, she couldn't because she didn't want to, but I found out some interesting things while I was training in my new kitsune abilities. There are many different colors. Each color signifies something or another. The lavender color is ultra rare and signifies a kitsune of love, of which my mate is, but rarer yet would be the kitsune always seen as a good omen, the black. The previous Kyuubi was just a common red tail that found her tails just through being the oldest alive, but that doesn't mean it isn't stronger. As a black kitsune, when I reached 6 tails I exceeded the level of the Kyuubi, and as a 9-tailed black kitsune, I am in my own league. Releasing the restraints on his chakra output, Naruto brought out the true power of his new heritage, causing debris to fly around as the nearby lower level ninja passed out from the pressures being pushed down on them. "Do it, Sasuke," Naruto yelled out. Sasuke stared at his teammate as he struggled to breathe under the dense air pushing upon him. Gritting his teeth, he focused on making the hand seals. "No." Sasuke called out, bringing forth a large snake. "Attack the one with nose metal." The giant snake said nothing as he obeyed. Slithering across the ground, it went out of its way to avoid Naruto before bearing down on the Akatsuki leader. "Alright morons, time to show you some real power, come forth Shukaku and Nibi." Holding his hand to the sky, yellow and purple light shot from two of the rings. The lights landed on either side of him before they formed into the two demons made of pure chakra until they formed their elements around them, giving a solid shape. Shukaku took the usual appearance of the sand Tankui, while the Nibi formed into a purple flaming tiger. "I'm free again." Must have blood, howled out the demon raccoon, obviously still nuts. "Yamato, quickly try to slow them down, Sasuke, just occupy them." Yamato jumped into the battle and immediately had to focus on his task to not be overwhelmed by the intense chakra output that seemed to not even affect the Akatsuki leader. Hokage Shiki Jijin Jutsu. Kakuen Nitten Sushu, Hokage style 60-year-old technique. Enclosed hermitage returned to society, Yamato's activated, causing 6 large wooden dragons to shoot out of the ground and began swallowing enormous amounts of chakra from the two demons. "My head. Make it stop, I'll kill all of you," roared Nibi as it started flailing and swiping at the wooden statues. It wasn't going any better for the statues by the Shukaku as it too continued to smash at the dragons. Sasuke was atop of his summon, throwing out long to medium range attacks which continually hit their mark but went unnoticed since the demons were preoccupied with the statues draining their chakra. "Give me blood." In a surge of rage, Shukaku smashed through the statues on his side, with Nibi following shortly after, disposing of the others. With a giant swipe of its claws, Nibi sliced a large snake summon to shreds, sending it back to its realm in a puff of smoke. "What the hell, this thing is miles stronger than Gaara was," commented Sasuke, picking himself up from the ground. "How much longer is Naruto?" "Halfway, now shut up, concentrating." Sasuke kept looking at Naruto just sitting there while huge amounts of chakra were being forced into the crystal necklace. Sasuke immediately started sending out his own ranged attacks, trying to draw away the attention of the demons, while Yamato was dodging swipes, getting banged up quite badly in the process. Just as a furious flame swipe closed in on Sasuke, he managed to pull off a switch out with a piece of wood from one of the broken statues, just to arrive in the path of a wind attack from Shukaku, sending him hard into a tree, cracking some ribs. He looked up and saw the closing in to take him out when a thunderous fist struck the ground, tearing up the earth below the sand critter, knocking him off balance, ending his attack. "Ugh, thanks Sakura, I was almost done there," Sasuke muttered out. "Yeah, now don't get killed out there," she remembered before sending him back out to occupy the demons while she disappeared until needed again. Yamato was having large amounts of trouble fighting the demons now that his draining was proven less than effective without a container for the beasts, and even his wood was of little protection under the heat of the flaming claws of Nibi. Suddenly a strange surge of energy was felt in the direction of the blonde kitsune. All attention was drawn to him and they all witnessed the necklace pulsing with a white light floating in midair in front of him. His blonde locks swirled around wildly in the wind, being churned up. "Demons, stop him from whatever he is doing," commanded the Akatsuki leader. The demons quickly changed direction and closed in on Naruto, whilst Sasuke and Yamato were at no position to guard him. The demons were merely 3 feet away when Naruto stood and opened his eyes that seemed to be glowing a brilliant blue. Crystal of Souls. Demon absorption. The bright white light split away from the necklace into 8 glowing strings, seeking out the chakra of the demons. Shukaku and Nibi both stopped dead in their tracks when the fine string pierced into their forehead and out their spine before wrapping around the beasts, giving them a bandaged, mummified look while they roared in protest. The enemy looked on, not amused, trying to figure out what was happening when he saw the remaining strings wrap around the stones of his other rings and crush them, bringing out each of the other biju fully wrapped in the illuminated strings. With each demon restrained, the strings pulled taut before forcefully dragging them towards the crystal. "What have you done, kid?" demanded the leader as he witnessed his trump cards being dragged away. "I have put them away like they were intended to be after they came into this world." The crystal was never used and was forgotten since a kind demon was currently on the planet, but since she is gone, say goodbye to the evil biju as they are torn from existence. Naruto gave off a smirk as the demons disappeared into the crystal as it gave off a bright pulse and shattered into thousands of pieces, sending fragments in all directions. Your quest for the biju was all in vain, they are gone now like they should have been years ago. Naruto steps forward to the Akatsuki leader, staring him down before yelling out to his team. "Sakura, send out the signal and heal the others, I'll take care of this guy." Sakura immediately took out the flare gun, "They have those right. Haha," and signaled Konoha before coming to the aid of Sasuke and Yamato. "Konoha. There's the signal, start the attack." called out Tsunade as she called forth the slug boss Kitsai. Seconds later she was joined by Gamabunta and the three-headed hellhound Cerberus, boss of the Nindogs. Kakashi summons make sense, right? The three giant summons took off after the cocky enemy, but their attitude quickly changed when the summons weren't stopped by the Biju and started decimating their ranks. It only took mere seconds to reduce the army from the thousands to easily manageable double digits. The war is over and Konoha still stands strong, but to keep the war from returning, the leader must be taken care of. Back with Naruto. Sakura helped her two team members get away from the battle to ensue before she started healing their injuries for the way back. Do you think Naruto can win? Asked Sakura, looking towards the blonde. Might be tough, he used a good 95% of his chakra to destroy the Biju, but he should still have more than Kakashi. We are of no use at this point in our condition, so let's just wait and hope for the best. Yamato informed me. So, it has been passed down that as one of the Kitsune Guardians, I have a standing order to end your life here. Announced Naruto. Bring a kid, I was the leader of Akatsuki for a reason, I was the strongest. The man drew out his katana and launched towards Naruto. Dodging at the last minute he escaped the beheading slash, but still earned a slice down his right cheek. The blonde pulled out a kunai and started to defend against the sword slashes, narrowly avoiding each one. Knowing that he was at a less than optimal level in chakra, he had to slow the guy down enough to start doing some damage. Rasengan. Rain of Rasengan, Naruto unloaded sphere after sphere from his tails while parrying the sword slashes. Even though his attacks were weaker versions, they still had to hurt like hell when they contacted the guy, but if they didn't slow him down enough, then he would deplete his chakra in no time at the rate they were being thrown. It appeared as though the leader had lost his mind a while ago, since he was just using extreme amounts of chakra for speed and power, completely ignoring the shredded skin where Naruto's attacks landed. On top of that he was using no, but it still didn't make it that easy. Naruto let up on flinging the Rasengan, since he barely has enough chakra left to heal, now shifted to Taijutsu only. He found it nearly impossible to deal a hit with the reach and power of a sword over the small kunai, and was really feeling the effects of it since he was now sporting gashes along his legs, abs, and arms, not counting his face from earlier. Naruto stumbled over some overturned ground from Sakura's diversion and fell to his side, narrowly avoiding another strike by rolling away from it. Hold still you shit, let me kill you. Screamed the guy as he had blood flowing from his mouth but refused to stop. Naruto howled out in pain as a slash nearly took off his tail and left a massive gash on his back from his shoulder to his waist. He was in a very bad place now, but the leader was equally damaged but was yet to show signs of slowing down. Once again Naruto stumbled trying to dodge and was right where the enemy wanted him. Naruto could barely see the sword being intercepted by a person covered in blood as it edged a ball of something at the leader. Kitsune bye. Naruto let out a sigh of relief that it was just his fiancée, but bolted back up to his feet, realizing that she was covered in blood. The blonde ran to the bloodied person, completely ignoring the screaming crispy fried chicken still burning in the blue flame, and held her shoulders firmly. Hinata, are you okay? Is the baby okay? You're covered in blood, are you okay? He asked frantically. Quiet love, this blood isn't mine. But you on the other hand are covered on your own. Really? I didn't notice. He commented with a large grin before falling over unconscious. Naruto-kun. Hinata screamed as she caught his limp form from hitting the ground. It only took a few seconds to be joined by Sakura as she helped Hinata carry him to her makeshift hospital. The both of them started healing him after Sakura fed him a blood replenishing pill and Hinata got cleaned up. Between his own healing and the two kunoichi doing their part, most of the serious gashes were taken care of while they had to wrap the remaining cuts in bandages, leaving Naruto looking like the usual mummy. Ugh, damn, I haven't hurt this badly since, like, ever. Groaned Naruto after regaining consciousness. Naruto-kun. Shouted Hinata as she embraced him lightly and fed him fully. Hey gorgeous, how about we get out of here and see how everyone else is doing, we are through here. After that suggestion all the weary fighters started out on their agonizingly slow walk home. Hey Naruto. Sounded Sasuke's voice. Did you ever hear voices in your head when she was inside you? Yeah, why? Naruto looked to his returned friend and saw he was trying to say something. Are you saying that you hear the snake bastard in your head? Yeah. He replied quietly. Knowing that he would still never ask, Naruto decided to offer. You know, I can probably make a seal that will shut him up. Sasuke's eyes lit up as he looked at the blonde. Really? Yep, but I need some rest first. Assured Naruto as they continued on their way. They passed through the large battlefield where Konoha ninja were busy cleaning up the carnage left behind from the slaughter. Finally they arrived at the village where the shield was still protecting the village. Both Hinata and Naruto took their positions on the wall and dropped the shield, with Naruto absorbing some to help his reserves. Upon entering the village, Naruto was lost in his own world as the villagers cheered on the heroes as they returned from single-handedly ending the war. The small group split with most going to report to the Hokage, while Hinata and Naruto returned home to rest. Naruto flopped onto the bed completely exhausted when Hinata came in and removed her shirt bearing her to him and sauntered over to his bedside. "Hinata-chan, I'm too injured for that." He whined in disappointment. "Maybe you're too injured to be on the giving end, but not the receiving." She smiled at him fully before removing his pants to give him his reward for winning the battle and coming back alive. Time passing, epilogue. After the defeat of the Akatsuki leader, the 5 major countries were finally at peace with each other. Even though most didn't participate in the last war, the effects of it were clearly being felt. There were many losses handed down in that war, but moving on was the best way to show the people that everything was alright, so why not show them with a wedding between the 2 most powerful ninja in their village? "So done, are you nervous?" questioned Sasuke. "Actually it is more exciting, so how is the snake sleeping?" Naruto asked. "The ass hasn't bothered me since you placed that seal on him." "That's good, you know there were times when I never expected you to return, and here you are standing in with me on my wedding day." Naruto looked at the usually brooding Uchiha and saw something that could resemble a smile. "Yeah, well it is easier to be human after avenging my clan, now I can focus on something else," was his reply, trying to hide his face. "Right, and how is this something else doing?" Naruto pried knowingly. "None of your business, now get moving or Hinata will be marrying herself." The 2 shinobi hurried to the front of the gathering and started to wait. Within the next few minutes the music started and Hinata rounded the corner in all her magnificent beauty. She was hoping to keep her emotions in check the moment she laid eyes on her blonde kitsune dressed in the Hokage robes, with the kanji for Rakudame printed down the back. She couldn't hold it in and let the trickle of tears slide down her face. Before it could make too much of a mess, Hiashi handed her a tissue to dab away the wetness before guiding her down the aisle. Reaching the end, Hiashi edged her cheek and turned to sit down. "Your wife looks a bit fat, what have you been feeding her?" whispered Sasuke with a chuckle. "She's a pregnant idiot, now shut up so I can get her." After the quick jab of words, Naruto took a step forward and took his soon-to-be wife's hand and brought her in front of Tsunade. "Alright, we are gathered here for 2 great occasions, one is clearly the union between these 2 lovers, and the second is promoting Uzumaki Naruto from the position of genin to the title of Hokage. Remember his status was only temporary for teaching, just like the late Sandaime, Naruto has made the greatest jump in rank a ninja can muster. So on behalf of Konoha and the new village council, Uzumaki Naruto is hereby bestowed with the title of Hokage, enjoy the paperwork." Naruto's face paled a bit, causing nearly all in attendance to burst into laughter, since most had seen how much Tsunade deplored the paperwork. "Now since we have taken care of that, let's move into the wedding. Since you all know what a wedding entails, it would be worthless to describe it to you all. So let's fast forward to it. Since your love for each other has spoken volumes for us all to follow, I now pronounce you husband and wife, now the bride, brat." In the midst of all the laughter, Naruto excitedly stooped down to her height and his wife carringly. The crowd started whooping and hollering when Hinata took that time to wrap her arms around his neck and kept his in contact with hers for another few moments before letting up when it started to rain. Everyone looked to the clear sunny skies in amazement until Naruto pulled out an umbrella and held it above him and his new wife. "What?" he asked when all eyes were on them. "Didn't you know that rain falls even on a sunny day after a kitsune wedding?" With a smile still plastered on his face, Naruto led his wife away from all the people to set out on their honeymoon. Now after reading this story, I believe you all have a very good idea on how they went between them, if not rewind a couple chapters and read it again. After the honeymoon it was a time of adjustment for the both of them as they got settled into their own house, bought with the money earned from the shoe design, as well as life of a Hokage. About 5 months after the wedding the Hokage and his wife could be found in the hospital with the previous Hokage, where Hinata was giving birth to her child. After much screaming and excruciating pain, there in her arms lay a dark-haired girl looking at them with her pupil-less eyes that was completely human, despite the heritage of both parents. "So, what are you going to name her?" asked Tsunade as she smiled at the 3 of them. The couple continued to stare at the girl until they caught a glimpse of dark red chakra forming ears upon her head, which could only be seen by kitsune eyes. Naruto and Hinata smiled at each other and simultaneously answered. "Her name is Kayu-chan." With another smile, Tsunade left them with their new child. It was unknown how 2 kitsune were able to give birth to a full-blooded human, but it was probably nature's way of saying that kitsunes belong with their own as do humans. The strangest part is that Naruto and Hinata only had 1 child, while everyone knew they wanted more, but couldn't figure out why they never did, and every time they were asked they just answered there is plenty of time. Naruto served his village for about 25 years, all the while not caring who his parents were anymore, since he has his own family now, until he decided it was time to let another lead, and much to his excitement, Konohamaru was chosen as the next Hokage, where he served for another 25 years before stepping down as to not outshine his early mentor rival. Years passed peacefully, and the newest generation of ninja were very promising as they grew into the new leaders of the village. The day was a particularly sad occasion for the village. About 60 years have gone by since the war with Akatsuki, and for some unknown reason the old Rakudame Hokage and his wife were found dead that morning, still sleeping in each other's arms like they were 20 again. Their death couldn't be explained other than by natural causes, and that when one went the other couldn't live without the other and went as well. The entire village gathered together for the double funeral, and time wasn't the best for the rookie 9 and the others. They all were as old as the two deceased and knew before too many years were to pass they were next. They were really surprised that they all managed to live into their 80s. The attendees of the funeral all filed out after the service, leaving behind the entire Konoha 12, minus the two, with what was still remaining of the Konohamaru core and everyone's children and grandchildren. They were gathered around the two caskets when they were disturbed by two young voices laughing from behind them. "Quit your laughing, do you have no respect for the dead?" hollered the 60-year-old Hyuga-looking woman, but her eyes shone a glimpse of red in her anger joining her tears. The rest of the group turned with her to the still laughing 20-year-olds and gasped upon seeing them. "Konoha is left in your capable hands, take care of it and protect it with your life. We decided that it wasn't fair to stay around here among everyone as you grew older while we didn't, and now our mortal life is officially over," proclaimed one of the laughing intruders with blonde hair. "This is the world of humans and is no place for kitsune. Our human lineage continues on in you, Kyu-chan, and your children. We are both proud. As you can see, we will live much longer than anyone here since we are part demon now, and we wish to leave before seeing our friends all die before us, and now you also know why we said there was plenty of time for children. We were only allowed to have one fully human child, the rest will be and should live among the kitsune," informed the dark-haired girl as she held the hand of the blonde. "Take care, and oh, we love each of you. Come on, Hinata-chan, we should be going, we don't belong here anymore." With an arm slipped behind the young woman's back, they disappeared into the forest to leave the still gaping friends and relatives standing there staring into the forest where they disappeared. Konoha grew into a massive city and barely got into any wars since that one year, and the ones they did were short-lived. Every decisive battle that was about to be fought was ended before it could be started by a strange blue twister of intense heat. It was because of this that nations chose to remain at peace since they feared the flames and the whispers heard over the wind calling forward the Tatsumaki Kitsune Inferno. The people of Konoha were also amazed with this phenomenon, but there was a legend passed down through the years that Konoha was protected by a pack of demonic foxes. As long as their ideals remained pure, they would be protected from harm by the Kitsune, but if they were to fall into evil, it would be their end by the same hand that protected them. This isn't the end of the life of Naruto and his Vixen Hinata, but what happens in the future remains in their hands, and only they know the outcome as they continue protecting their home from behind the shadows of the forest as the unofficial guardians of the Will of Fire. Thanks for watching this video. If you really enjoy this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. Don't forget to support and follow the Tobmaster for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story link in the description. See you in the next video. Goodbye.